3, 4, 5. People have all these countdowns. We're live.
The original YouTube Live Hound podcast /live. So you can watch us here. And you can watch us here where we have thousands of people who watch us. Or you can go watch us on listen to us on W and what's that other one? Sportsman's Network.
I think they put it on Sportsman's Network too.
Yeah, they do. We may not be
introductions.
the first podcast.
Benny Griffin, the original Stomper.
The original Stomper. This whole podcast is named after him.
Chris Watson.
Loudmouth.
Antidote of a Houndsman. We don't have a nickname for you or me. We're not famous enough to require one.
Got the Tulip, the Lorax, the Stomper.
You guys aren't running from the law.
No. Nope, we aren't. But Benny's undercover.
I do have to. I thank Chris Powell for mentioning us in his last podcast on the last 9 minutes. Of course, it was Ed Barnes who said we're copying them because we did kind of poke a little fun at him and said this is the real raw. To kind of poke at him, a little bit of fun. I was hoping they'd poke back a little bit. Maybe they're scared.
Oh yeah, you know they are.
Ed Barnes will be on. Oh, let's give a shout out. When you guys listening to us tonight and you guys need to see a little bit less, not as great, tomorrow, Chris and Ed are going to be on YouTube Live. They're going to try it.
They're going live on YouTube?
Yes, they are.
Oh, man, that's going to be too much fun. I hope I'm home in time.
I'm going to go on and really give them some.
Oh, man, I think everybody should just comment.
I think everybody should jump on tomorrow on the Houndsman XP podcast or the YouTube Live. And the first thing you comment is a big old eggplant in honor of us.
They're podcasters. What do they do? Well, they're not YouTubers.
Well, we're not podcasters.
I know that.
So it's good. It'll work out good. I think we should all just do a big collaboration and see who can cut each other down the most. I think it'll be fun. We'll watch him. I like Ed Barnes. Ed Barnes. Here. Chris is like the proper one. You got Ed Barnes who says whatever the F he wants.
Sometimes I go take a nap before Ed's saying whatever he says. Because he has that
that boy, he could, who should, Jason Doobie should get him to read some of those full cry.
He and then he's really thoughtful about what he says, as like complete opposite than me.
Yeah, he thinks about it.
I know.
Not us.
I just blurt whatever comes into my mind.
Yeah.
Hey, where's our boy from Maine? He's got to come on and give us a status update. What's his name?
Where's Dylan? Dylan. Where's he under, though? His name's Dylan, but what's his... You better get on.
Dylan? We want to hear your progress. You can use the same link.
Podcast. He said on my podcast, he had a friend that was going to take him out. So there's some progress there. Where you at, Dylan? He better be here. You better get on. If the undercover game guys are on, he can get on.
I gotta.
Brett's doing something.
Oh, our special guest is down there living on Texas time. And when I
was in her town today.
Lubbock?
Stop by.
Is that where she lives? Is Lubbock?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think she did say Lubbock. Cause I said I lived in Lubbock for 8 years and it had nothing but a loop.
I'll guarantee you today all they had was sand blowing through the air.
Pretty windy over there.
There, Holly Moore. Damn it, I'm on my way.
Hey, she's on her way. That's all. That's better
Yeah.
than not.
Is that what she said?
T.L. Jones. So Chris did a podcast with T.L.
Yeah.
Jones
Yeah, it was
about his
good.
dad.
Was it?
We'll have
Yeah,
to
his
jump
dad.
him on. We'll have to steal Chris's guest and make it even funner.
Well, they're screwing around getting in our territory.
Oh well, let's get Ed. Ed's playing the field here. I think. I
That's all
think
right,
Ed's one.
guys.
I think Ed Barnes is like a divorced kid. He's playing mom and dad against each other.
We've got an ace
He-
up our sleeve. We have an
we
ace
do.
up our sleeve. They won't ever get John Clump.
That's true. John's.
You seen John Clump? Tell us about this weekend, Benny.
Yesterday morning, I spent the weekend over on the Blue in eastern Arizona, and yesterday morning, I was telling John Clump that Tina, remember Tina Shearman, Tom
Yep.
Taylor's sister,
Taylor.
Tom Taylor getting a hip replacement right this moment in Lubbock, but Tina's been wanting me to give her a pin drop or coordinates for where all of her great grandfather's relatives are buried in Eagle Creek. And I can't get any of the clumps to take the time to send me a pin drop. So I told John about it, and he says, well, just tell her that I'll take her. So I called her yesterday. John and I were over there on the Blue together, and I called her, and so she thought that was better than a pin drop. She'll just call. I gave her John's phone number, and she'll just call Mr. Clump, and he'll give her a tour.
Personal
I guess
tour.
personal
Private
tour.
personal tour.
So
I even went over and spent a little time with Mr. Benny this weekend.
yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
Tell us about your weekend.
We can't say a whole lot.
It's
Top
we
secret.
we ate a lot of brisket. It was smoked brisket.
And some of the best peach cobbler I ever ate in my life.
That was Justin Marks's cobbler.
Man. I almost
You know-
I foundered myself on it almost.
Wife had to drag you
tried-
to the truck. Diabetic coma.
I tried to get Tim Clump, John's oldest son. I tried to get him to come over and don't tell his dad he was going to come see me, and he said he was busy. He's the family business agent, bookkeeper, and PR guy.
Smart one.
Yeah, Tim is. So these potatoes he likes at Dustin Blakely. Justin Mark's nephew makes cheesy potatoes. And old Tim Clump, he said, good grief. He says, if I could eat those all the time, I'd weigh 500 pounds. So I antagonized him and told him we was going to have cheesy potatoes with our brisket, but he was already too tied up.
And there was cheesy potatoes with our brisket.
Yeah, there were.
They weren't his.
What'd you do this week, Chris? Oh, you went to some
I had hound trials.
hound trials. How did that? Did you win anything? Do you win anything when you go to hound trials?
I won a couple. I won a bag. Well, Avery won a bag of dog food on the raffle, and my other son won a knife and some other stuff. And then we won the tree competition. They time you for a minute, and your dog barks at the coon in the tree. Whoever has the most barks wins. Well, my daughter Avery was helping me hold the dog and let him go, and it won. So she got a little plaque that says tree dog,
cool.
and she slept with it, held it, carried it everywhere.
How old
Yeah.
is she?
5.
I'll be dang.
Yep. So,
That's good. That's good. I can't remember what I did this week. Oh, I know. I went to see Benny, but the
Yep.
week, there was like 5 days before that. And I've been just working with this mule I got, just trying to.
You've been actually making videos.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to make her, ride around like a horse, and one of those things is they need to catch the correct leads and everything, and she's real stiff on her left side. She doesn't really want to, she doesn't want to get that shoulder out and move. So we had some fights. We were out riding across the desert, and I was trying to make her more supple. You pick up an inside rein, then hold that shoulder and push it out, and try to bend them around your leg and get them counter bend and everything. That way you can control the shoulders and get them to catch the correct lead. And she took a little offense at me for doing that. But I got her where she was bending well and everything, but she just she didn't like it. She gapped that mouth like an alligator and locked that jaw up.
I was going to say, maybe she's had an accident or something on that one side before.
No, I think they're like us. I think they're, some are, we're right-handed or left-handed, and I just don't think she's ever been made to use that left side. And if you're going to rope on anything, you got to have it. I mean, everything in roping happens going to the left. So
I just know I wrecked my Harley, and I was running about 60 miles an hour when I ate it. And after that, I could lay it as hard as I wanted to over to the right, going around corners, but I had to force myself laying it over to the left. So I was just thinking, well, maybe that mule had a similar.
I'm sure it could be possible. I never noticed anything other than that, but it's typical, with a young horse or I guess a young mule. I've never really trained a mule before. I mean, I just got on them and go.
That's the problem with dogs, mules, wives. You get them used, you don't know what they've been through. You got to retrain them. What, Benny? You don't even know, Benny. You don't know. It's not your department.
Benny, you
just keep that one wife. Boring.
Compared to Chris, you've lived a very sheltered life. He's had more wives than most of us have family members.
Half of them aren't even mine.
The biggest difference is I've weathered more storms. Every time there's a storm, he hides out for different shelter.
No, I provided shelter, and that's what gets you in trouble. I didn't know that. I just try and be a nice guy.
I don't know.
Enough about Chris.
What else? Where's our special guest? That's what.
She's still getting ready.
Hey, I've got some great news, too. My dog box is being shipped.
Holy moly. You gotta now.
No, I'm happy. I'm tickled. They have done a heck of a good job.
They did.
I think everybody should put a date down. We should get a poll going and seeing
if
the
shipping's. Look at that sucker. Old South dog boxes. You can't buy a better box.
Yeah. Who can afford that kind of time?
That thing looks stout too.
It is. It's a flatbed. And see, go ahead.
They mine the ore, they melt it down, and they make your dog box right there.
Yeah, they got all the good stuff.
It looks like a good dog box.
It does.
That thing will last. Yeah.
It does. And I'm tickled.
You've gone through 2 generations of dogs waiting on it to be built. The dogs that you originally and have passed away.
You can't rush quality though.
No. Cannot. And you know how patient Brett is with everything.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'm a very patient man.
Chris, just settle down. The box will get here soon.
But the kid, I had another box that was in my buggy before, and it was just a regular old box, So I gave it to the kid that has, I've given him some dogs too, and he lives down here. He's a farm boy down here. He keeps asking me what I'm going to charge, for that box. Now I know I'm going to take this box and I'm going to take it down there because this guy's really handy and they got all the tools and everything. I'm going to say this is the charge. You got to mount this box on my buggy because you got to take the bed off because it's a flatbed. It's an aluminum flatbed box. So that'll be a good chore for him to pay for my other box. And now at least if I don't have time to do anything else, I can load up, 6 or 8 dogs and just take my buggy, go at least road them, down the Highline road.
Hey, since you don't bear hunt, you don't need to put a dog on top. You can mount a little generator and you can put one of those mini splits on there, and you can have your dog's air conditioned going down through the country too.
Hey, I'm going to start rigging foxes.
Missy Fix said, "You guys do more secrets than the women I used to work with."
Secrets.
Yeah, because you guys won't say what you were doing this weekend.
We
What
were
was up
eating brisket and
Hey.
potatoes.
Eating brisket.
Me and Benny are about the only legal ones there. If word got out who all was there, and Benny just now got where he could come out.
Yep. And now he's dragging all the undercovers with him.
So it's
Part of the He-Man She-Haters Club. That's where they were.
I realized too that now I just Casey Fair.
Oh
I
yeah,
hunted
yeah.
with Casey- I hunted with Casey 20 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah. When I was hunting over at Tonto Basin a lot in the wintertime, and that's where Casey was at. He was actually living over there in Tonto Basin, right along the river. So him and Justin Marks knew each other, and so we were all hunting together.
There's
There
Casey and his wife.
Now I don't know how big you guys expect this to be, but I just got a text. The guy said, "Drop me a pin." I sent him a pin. He goes, "Good. I'm gonna head that way. I'm trying to make it that way from West Virginia." Got Louisiana guy coming, West Virginia guy coming. So we're gonna have a lot of funny talking people there, guys.
That'll make it entertaining. Maybe they'll bring a band.
Anyway, but it's Casey and his wife they're the pick and shovel outfitters here. And they're the ones that are providing the food and the facility and everything, really.
Trying to get a band going.
Yeah.
Is it Diana, right?
Diana, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed talking to them. I really did. And, it got beyond me.
She's a go-getter. Diana is a go-getter.
Oh, yeah. She just keeps telling me it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, before we even kind of signed on with her, she just, "Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Are we doing it?" Me and Brett said, "You can do it. just go do it. Let's just do it. We don't know what we're doing.
We just
Tell us when to be there."
We just kind of started out with a campfire up in the high country. And,
originally, the rendezvous was just, "We're going to be here. Bring your food. We'll throw it all together, cook it if we have to, and just hang out."
Yeah.
That's similar to what happened at Douglas for Earn Your Spurs. I said, "Hey, Brett, Kelly and her daughter Mackenzie hosts this deal, and I'm going to go over there. They're going to have 2 ranch rodeos and a bull riding and a bunch of stuff. You ought to come." And he said, "Yeah, I'll come." And then he says, "Yeah, me and Tammy are going to come." And next thing I know, hey, Chris is coming, and we're going to do a remote live. And now Kelly's asked us to do it every single year and be part of their program.
There you go.
Yep.
All because of you, Benny.
No, sir. It's
all Benny.
The mighty Brett Vaughn.
No, if it was up to me, I enjoy just sitting here in this chair and talking to y'all.
Or to a camera on the back of a mule out in the middle of nowhere.
Somehow I can talk to a camera. I don't know why. But anyhow, we're going to have to fill some time here.
Hey, where's Ryan Bailey from?
Arizona, I believe.
I don't even know who's Ryan Bailey.
Right,
He's,
Ryan? Aren't you from?
is he from Payson?
Hey, look at here. This guy's going to make it. Idaho guy. Going to try to make it.
Oh,
You're committed now, Tim. You got to be there.
Yep. Yep. We need someone to go look for our dogs when we lose them for 3 days.
Yeah. Where did the other chats go? Ryan Bailey. What do we need more? You guys have any questions? Pop us off some questions. Benny is here to answer questions.
I feel like we have something else going on. Look, Jim Blaylock said his name's Jim Blaylock. I would have never guessed it. I would have never guessed.
Don't make fun of
Pimpy.
him. He types with a stutter.
Where is
I live in Tempe.
Ryan, are you related to a Randy Bailey that was in Payson?
Maybe he's related to Bill Bailey.
You know what? I don't think they can. I was kind of fidgeting through the interview stories and tells managing thing, and I think it's set for every 60 seconds. It said something about you can't comment, but every 60 seconds.
Really? I need to.
Yeah,
I don't think that's right. If I try to
just
fix
said
it now,
60 seconds.
If I
Yeah,
try to
you better
fix
not.
it now, I'll screw it up.
Well, he answered. I go to Young. I tried to sign up the other day, but it would not let me. So Ryan's
Hey.
name ain't Ryan.
I go to Young regularly.
It's
I
his-
tried to sign
It's
up
his
to what?
alias.
I tried to
Illinois.
sign up. What is that? Sign up the other day for what?
Oh, for the dinner. He said it wasn't working. But
Oh,
he said she had people sign up, so I don't know. Maybe it was just a glitch. Try it again.
Diana, you better get that fixed.
Well, she
Hey,
went through
hey.
and changed a bunch.
Hey, there he is. Axel, we want to know how
Dylan!
is the progress going.
Hey, click on that same link and join us.
If
Dylan,
you still have it,
click on it. We want to
you
know
still
your
have that
progress.
link. Click on it.
I wish
What
I
else
could.
we got? What else we got going on? We got the rendezvous. I swear we have something else.
The heat of the summer. I mean, it's terrible out there.
And I was going to talk about some other podcasts. Oh, I found a podcast today on Spotify. They were talking about the California bear thing going on, where they're trying to manage the bears because they got too many bears. And I think back in 10 years ago, whatever it was, or 2005, I'd have to listen to it again. They had 25,000 bears. Now they got 65,000 plus bears. And they're talking about spring hunts now and doing a class with babies. But right now, if you look on the internet, I just got off of Facebook, a couple pages, and there's baby bears everywhere. They're not going to do a spring hunt.
Where's this at? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
California. I found
California?
a podcast. It's the Howl podcast. I didn't know they had a podcast. They barely put any content up, but I'm tired tonight.
Who's tired?
Dylan,
Oh,
you hadn't even started hunting yet, buddy.
Hey, he's 20 years old. 20 years old. I was tired, and then I went drinking all night, and then I came home, took a shower, and then I went to work all day, and then I thought I better not do that 2 days in a row.
I was going to say I was tired one time.
And then the fourth day, you said it again.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
We've got some
I'm
feminine
nervous.
some feminine company in
Yep.
the stomping grounds. Why are you nervous? Don't be
I can't
nervous.
even-
Do I need to turn my camera the other way?
No,
If you
you're-
want
you're-
to.
if you want
Yeah.
to, it doesn't matter. However you like
Well,
it, that's fine. The only one you
Sorry,
need to worry about is Benny. Just
Yeah.
I know.
don't make him mad.
Don't
He's
look
the
him
one
in the eye.
He's the one I like because he doesn't say much. So
Ah.
I mean, no, because then he's just sitting there
No.
thinking, like,
He
You
he's
done hurt our
contemplating.
feelings already.
Well, we forgot to add your name here. There we
Chris
go.
talks.
Yep.
Do what?
I said Chris talks too much. See, there's a difference.
Yep.
Oh, so Chris, yeah. No.
So,
Hi.
hi,
How are you guys?
Holly Moore, and your father is Jim Moore,
Yes, sir.
famous West Texas lion hunter, rodeo cowboy. I mean, real deal.
Yeah.
That's cool. And
Cowboy Mule Skinner. He really enjoyed. That's what turned me on to your channel was your mules because you have good looking mules and
oh, thank you.
you're welcome. So yeah.
Yeah. No. Well. That's. I mean, I always rode horses until I had an old cowboy tell me one time. He said, "Well, the way you hunt, you really need to get a mule." So
Right.
I just do what I'm told. So I got one. I didn't know anything
But
about them.
it's worth it to get a good one because I mean, other than that, yeah. I mean, their dad always said he's like, the thing about they'll remind you at least once a day who their daddy is, and that's the truth. Like, but
You ride all the horse out of them, and all you got left is
well,
jackass.
yeah. I mean, I really think he probably like. Of course, I'm, biased, but he had not just because he had probably 8 or 9 at all time, because they had to be bomb proof for the hunters. You know what I mean? So he probably had some of the best mules in the country.
What?
I honestly think so. So
Oh yeah. So what's his story? How do you know how he got started with hounds and lion hunting?
I think Dad always like I think he enjoyed hunting but then I guess he guided like hunts like probably mule deer, elk, things like that. Like, but then when he started rodeoing, he moved to Fort Worth because it was more centrally located to everything. And then I don't like so since I from the time I was born, like I don't know. I'll take it back. He went hunting a couple times. He went hunting and bear hunting, and those were both with previous like lion hunting clients. And then they invited him, so he went. But with what I'm getting at is he never went deer hunting. He was kind of over all that. But he and even with the lions, like he never once killed. Like we were talking before he passed away, and he said he regretted that he never let me shoot one, like actually kill a lion. But that would have caught. That was we couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? Like that would have been when there was a hunter ready to pay, like,
Oh yeah.
I do have a rug and a bobcat rug as well, but that is the dogs just
But you were
killed it and stuff.
you were in on hunts though. You went with them, right?
I was the cameraman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I went with Dad a lot just like when we were just like hunting, like just trying to just I mean, I think lions out there, I mean, I think they probably make a circle every 30 to 45 days. I mean, and I could be a little off on that, but there was a lot of work that went into it before a hunter ever, but anyway, so he, like I said, he retired, well, he rodeoed for a living for, well, till he was 40 years old.
Really?
And then he retired from that, but there's no retirement in rodeo. So I really don't know how he started. He hunted with Blackie Woods. That's who got him started. And he said, Blackie wasn't typical. I think hunters, horse trainers, they're not just going to voluntarily like give away their secrets. I think they make you feel they're going to make you feel dumb before they actually show you any sign that they're proud of you. But Blackie was tough on him, and that's where he just started hunting with him because he enjoyed it, and then at that point he just found a way to to make a living doing it. Which
him and Henry McIntyre hunted together, but they probably butted heads a little bit too, didn't they?
Well, I mean, you can imagine, right? They were both. Yeah, well, and I mean, with all due respect to Henry as well, but they were both just two, just bosses. You
Oh,
know
I
what I mean? And like,
understand.
and so, Henry was, and I'm actually, I mean, I keep in, I say keep in touch. Like I found another old video actually with Henry in it, and Henry was, I guess helping dad. Because a lot of times, I mean, dad was the cameraman, the guide, like he didn't have any help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, I got in touch with Henry's, I guess it was probably his grandson, which is odd to me because with dad's age, like, you know, I'm my dad was the same age as my friends like granddads, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's kind of a generation off there. But anyway, so I've been in touch with them and they really appreciate the videos and stuff because, there's no hard feelings. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
um, what their main, conflict, I guess, was, I don't know how y'all's dogs are, but like dad's dogs wouldn't. Okay, like when you let them off the chain at the house before loading them, um, you had to watch them because Nugget was the dominant one. He was the dad, and it's just like they were. I mean, the other ones would jump on him, like they would fight. In other words, now in the
Hmm.
mountains, once you got there and Dad unloaded them, it was all business. Like
Hmm.
it just worked that way. But now, even if he was hunting and ran into a rancher with maybe like a border collie, I mean, there was nothing Dad could do about it. I mean, like they better get a hold of their dog because those hounds would they'd kill him. I mean, I don't know, but that's just how they
That's how
were.
they were.
And so, yes, sir. Yeah, they wouldn't like any outside dog. They wouldn't.
They didn't
They
accept them.
didn't get along. And
Yeah.
so Henry had a dog.
The
I
water.
think he called that dog Solo,
The
and
water.
he wanted to bring him. And Dad, for his sake, didn't think it was a good idea. He knew it wasn't, but Henry had been hunting longer, so sure enough, and I mean, the dog was fine, but they ended up jumping on the dog, and then Dad and Henry probably jumped on each other, and that was that. But you couldn't mix any outside dogs with his.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
it just didn't work. So
Yeah. It's always, I mean, not
yeah.
always that way. It's the
Well,
dynamic changes with
with
outside dogs.
his right with his, I don't know it was, but then they would turn on each other is if they weren't hunting. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean, like,
Where did he
yeah.
get, do you know what kind of dogs he ran and where he got them from?
Yes, sir, I do. And I actually have a video of the man who Dad got his first. That's where, and I know I talk about Nugget a lot, but he was the. I mean, without him, I mean, he was the backbone to Dad's. Dad basically ended up having it was his own bloodline, his own breed almost. You know what I mean? But he got Nugget from a man from Crowley, Texas, which is kind of around Fort Worth. His name was Charlie Jennings, and yeah, that's where Nugget came from, and that's how I got his name. I was little, that dog was 17 or 18 when I guess Dad finally had to put him down, which is
Oh, wow.
crazy that he didn't get killed, before that. But I was sitting there eating chicken nuggets when Dad brought him home, puppy, and so we named him Nugget, and yeah, and so at that point, like he was the females, like I said, they were two outside. Like one was like a Dalmatian. I say females, the ones that he bred to. Uh, but Nugget, they all went back to him, So, but they were running walkers.
Running walkers. Okay.
Running walkers. Running walkers. Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong. Running walkers are going to be the smaller. They're the smaller, not smaller, but like they're not going to the more silent trailers,
Yeah,
right?
well,
I mean,
I think they're probably, Benny can correct me, but I think they're probably more quiet than our, pot lickers or dogs that we
but as
have.
far as but running walker versus tree, I know there's running walker and tree and walker. I
Yeah.
believe his were running walkers.
Yeah, I
And
imagine if Blackie or if Blackie Woods
well,
was much of an influence to him, then it was running walkers.
well, Blackie had a dog named Top, and that was like his. I mean, by the time you know, I think it takes an old dog to get your young to teach your pups just kind of,
It's easier.
something to follow. Right. And so Top was Blackie gave Top to Daddy, and he was he was an old veteran, uh, and he was good, and that's probably that's who Nugget learned from, I guess.
Yeah.
But we trained him on house cat. I say house cats. I shouldn't say that. Like just wild
Feral
cats.
cats, wildcats. Yeah.
Yes, we'll say that. Um, Around Fort Worth, like
You could do that back
and
then. Now they'll throw you in
yeah,
jail for that.
right. But that's why I say like Dad's dogs. They didn't discriminate whether it was a house cat, a bobcat, a lion.
A cat was a
They
cat.
A cat was a cat, right?
Yeah.
hmm
So he started, but I mean, when he rodeoed, what, he rough stock? Did he rope any, or what all did he do? Everything,
he
probably.
he rode bareback and saddle bronc, but
Did he?
he saddle bronc, towards the end because bareback's a lot harder on you, I think. But yes, sir, yeah.
Did he ever make the finals?
Um, no, he didn't. He made the Texas circuit finals, and I
Circuit
think
finals, yeah.
yeah, and I think back then, I don't know that there was. I don't know what the payoff would have been to go that hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's the same to this day, but yeah, he was good. He was
Some friend of ours' grandfather qualified
mhm,
for the finals one time at team roping, and he didn't even
mhm.
go. He said there wasn't enough money for him to go. He
You're
didn't really
right. It
care.
just caught you
Now
there.
back,
Exactly.
this is back years ago, but
Right. Well,
uh,
yeah. I mean, that Dad won. I mean, I think he got his college team. Not that. So that then you could college rodeo, and I guess you still can, But he went to school there at Saul Ross, and I think it was 1967 when they won the. I think so, 67 or 8 when they won the national, and then from there he went straight to pro rodeoing. So, yeah, it was. And I was born in '82, so he had a long time having fun before,
oh yeah, sounds
you
like
know. Right. But
Chris,
uh,
Benny. You guys are awfully quiet. I guess because she said Chris talks too much.
I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but
No, no.
Yep. Benny said I talk too much, and she liked Benny better. So
no, no. I said Benny is the one that kind of keeps you on me on my toes because you can tell he's thinking, like he's listening and
Oh,
he's thinking, he's wondering. So, yeah. Hmm.
that's Benny.
And
yeah,
those
yeah.
videos, some of the things my dad would say, like I don't know, like I I can watch, like I mean most of those I haven't seen, since a lot of them I haven't seen since since we ran them off from the 8 millimeter to the VHS to give to the hunter. But like some of the things he says, I still just I don't. It blows my mind. Like I don't know where where it comes from. I don't know. He could never get their names right. Um, he No, I mean really, like it was like yeah. To this day, like the Jack Link jerky, that's when he first was getting started, and he brought his whole family, like his two sons, and the boys are Jay and Troy, and to this day, I think they still call him Toby because that's what my dad called him the whole hunt, and, and so I'm just like Dad, but
What
uh,
did he
anyway.
take out some pretty famous people? Do you remember some
Um,
good famous people?
well, um, ironically, one hunter was a baseball player. He was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and ironically, that's the only time that he's ever had a client kicked by one of his mules, and it was that really, yeah, right, like in the knee. And that video is on YouTube. It's a really good one, and they I'd say 90% of his hunters stayed in touch with them. You know what I mean? Like
They
I
became
don't know if it was
friends.
just the fact that yeah, and I don't know if it was just the fact that they came out there and he treated them this like you know he didn't treat them any different than he would have. You know what I'm saying? He didn't
He
give them any
treated him
special
like an
treatment as they were,
treated him
and they
like a
liked
normal
it. They
person.
enjoyed it, right? Yeah. And then one of the coolest things when I don't know exactly the history on it, but apparently there was all the law enforcement, like agents or cops, all of them used, I guess, at one time like a 9 millimeter. I want to say, I don't know
Sounds about right.
what. Okay,
Chris
so
knows.
I should get the I've got the magazine here somewhere. But anyway, so and then something happened basically, and like a cop shot the bad guy, and then it went through and killed maybe somebody behind him. And they so at that point they, you know, uh, decided to switch guns, and they chose a 357 Sig. And so the his name is Bill Vanderpool. He's like an FBI agent. He actually started the whole like ballistics training or thing at Quantico. So he's more than just, just a cop. Like he was a big deal. And so him and then the president of SIG Arms, his name is Ted Rowe, they came and shot 2 lions with Dad using that pistol. It was the first time it was ever shot outside of the test range, and like the first time it drew blood, pretty much. And I think they felt that like a lion was, I mean,
Had
closely, built
had
like
this had
a
the same
human.
density as a human.
Right, I guess so. And so they killed 2 lions, and then they gave Dad one of the guns. I still have it, and
Oh, cool.
Nice.
yeah, it was cool. And then Dad went and he called, see, Bill Vanderpool. From then on, he was FBI Bill. That's what I call him to this day, FBI Bill. He and FBI Bill went to Cloudcroft and hunted. They each shot a bear then with that pistol with Glenn, um, with Ben Lilly, as Dad called him, which he didn't really appreciate. But yeah, that's when you. If y'all know Glenn, you knew that he was not. He didn't have the best sense of humor. He was pretty grumpy. I don't know how he and Dad. I don't know that they did get along. He just put up with it. But like Dad,
Was your
yeah.
dad kind of a teaser? Did he like to kind of tease
Oh,
people?
oh man, he was so ornery. He was so on. Yeah, but he could take. But he would be the first like, to. If someone pulled a good one on him, he'd be the first to be like, you got me. Like he could take
Congratulate
it
him,
to
say.
himself. Oh man, but he was so ornery. Yeah, he like, I mean, and he would always tell those hunters, they believed him. Like he'd be like, well, they just probably got a coon in the tree. Like one time, he'd tell them. I noticed in one of those videos, he said like it was still real dark. I mean, it was usually always dark when they unloaded. But he's like, hell, it's so dark. I don't think these dogs are going to be able to see a track. You know, they
That's-
just, but he had fun. Yeah, he always had fun.
and he started hunting after he retired from rodeo.
Right.
He
So
started or at least guiding lion hunters.
he started lion hunting. That he never lion hunted until, I mean, until after I was born. So that was in 1982. But that's when he kind of started hunting with Blackie. And then really there wasn't much like, he Dad was once he set his mind to something. I mean, he was like, I don't want to say obsessed, but like he was a perfectionist. And he was good at whatever but he worked hard at it. You know
He
what I mean?
stayed after it.
Yes, sir, exactly. And so with his, like I said, those dogs. I mean, they were coon dogs. I mean, that's what they were, bred for. And then like I went with them. I mean, I didn't go to preschool. I went with Dad every day. Like, I mean, Mom went to work. She had a 9 to 5 job, and then I would go with Dad. We had uh, from Fort Worth, we would drive to Azle, which is that's where he started putting his string of mules together as well. So we between that and then the dogs, um, we chase cats, and then he'd ride his mules, and he trained all of them. I mean, I thinking like, we probably had 5 or 6 head of young ones, at that time, which is a lot, and they're so different than horses. Um, then that black mule that Jake, he's the one he talks about in the videos, and then Nugget, of course, was his favorite dog. But that Jake was that real pretty black mule, and he actually, Dad saw him. A man was riding him in the Grand Entry at the Fort Worth stock show, and I don't remember this, but my mom told me that Dad, and and like I said, we didn't really have the money for this kind of stuff, but Dad's the way he looked at things, he's like, got to spend money to make money. It's like you got to be able to see a nickel for a dollar, and he waited outside when that man rode out, and he was like, how much you want for that mule, and I don't know. There's no telling what Dad paid for him, but it was worth every penny
It's
because
a good one.
he was the best. Yeah. And I mean, I have a picture of me packing a lion out on him, alive. I mean, like darted. He was,
I'll
but
be dang.
with, but they don't, that doesn't knock them out completely. Like they're just, it just makes them goofy. It doesn't. They're not completely sedated. So, yeah, that was always. I mean, I was like 8 years old. So, mm, yeah, but
I'll be
Did he run
dang.
dogs at all before or just after? Did he have dogs at all earlier?
no, no, sir, he didn't at all. No, not until that he had a couple of Catahoula's he's tried to start with, called him Bert and Ernie. That didn't they didn't work out well. But then after that, yeah, he you know, Nugget, and then there was a female named Bonnie, and so Bonnie, we had Bonnie, Princess, and Nugget. Of course, I named my mom and I were the ones who named the dog, so it's uh anyway. And Princess she was a really good dog. She got knocked off a bluff really early on. And then Bonnie was, I considered her to be my dog. Like she was um, just a good little female, and she, her and Nugget were kind of, they worked. If he couldn't figure it out, then she would. You know what I mean? Uh, and those that's those were the dogs we started out with. And I was actually going to school in Fort Worth at the time, so we hadn't moved to West Texas, and you know we'd have to like draw a picture, tell a story about talk about our parents, and they actually called my mom up there for a parent teacher conference because they're like, I don't know, but and I had no imagination when I was little. I mean, I still don't. I was just very, but they're like, your dog, you don't know where she's coming up with this stuff, like. And they showed her. I drew a picture of a mule and a dog and my dad, and my mom was like, well, I mean, it's true. And so he brought that. We had pet day, and he brought that dog all the way from Balmorhea and brought her to Fort Worth and went
The
to
show.
pet day with me. Yes.
Prove everybody you were right.
Yeah, and I didn't sleep. I think the whole night before, like I could not sleep because I was like, she's gonna kill everyone. Anybody who brought a cat, like she's gonna kill the cat. No, I'm serious. I was like so worried about it. And
Oh boy.
she was a perfect lady, so she behaved well. And then after that, they believed me. So yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna.
that terrain you guys hunt over there, Brett, and that's West Texas. That's got a little bit of mountains in it, right? Out of New
A
Mexico.
little,
No,
a
a
little
lot.
bit, yes. It's a mile
Yeah.
high, but it's rough, and that's what Dad's always like. Talking to his hunters, he's like people that don't think they don't know that there's mountains like that in Texas, and I mean there's some rough country. Like the video is don't really do it justice, but like
Let's
yeah, it was
try.
rough.
Let's try this real quick. See if I can make it
Sure.
happen.
They've got bluffs over there that are probably 5, 6, 700 feet high.
What the heck?
Gotcha. You think of Texas and you think of flat land always, the prairies.
Well,
Yeah,
and
but that's
yeah,
that's how the Davis Mountain.
yeah, like so Fort Davis, which that's where I went to graduated high school. It's actually, I mean, it's a mile high, like the town itself. Um, and then, I just think it's home, but those mountains are really pretty to me. Now Van Horn, like where Jim Breck, like Bean, I mean, he hunts all that country now, but now those are some of the roughest mountains. I mean, they're the Eagle Mountains. They're I've never been in them, but I've seen them, and just from hearing Dad, like they're because that's where Blackie was from, was Van Horn, so he hunted that a lot with them.
Can
They're
can
rough.
can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Can you hear him?
No.
Oh, dang it!
I,
Holly can narrate.
I don't know. I get them all confused. I would say,
Oh, I was hoping you could. I was hoping you could hear it.
Usually you can. What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. You look. He tells the guy. He said you look like a dude sitting there letting that mule eat.
and anybody, if y'all hear him talk, say like Redbird, he's always like, "Oh, Redbird, that's the prettiest mule." Redbird was. I'll tell you this. Like I was never. Dad never even put me on Redbird because like Redbird is one of those mules. He was gentle, but he was going to do what he wanted. If there was a limb and he saw it, he was going to go under it. He was
Oh.
he. But he. I mean, he was gentle, but he. Yeah.
I wish y'all could have
He
heard
was.
that. He said, "Pull that mule's head up there. You're looking like a greenhorn there." Don't.
But and you'll hear him a lot of times too, like tell him like quit pulling on my mule, give that mule some slack, give and then I wish I don't know if I don't know how I could bring it up, but like it's funny he's videoing and somebody else is taking still pictures of this hunter and he's pulling on him and kicking him at the same time because they don't know they've never ridden before most of them, and Dad's like God damn you're pulling on me. Quit kicking him like and it was pretty comical but nobody ever got hurt except that picture. But
Except the one time.
yeah,
Sounds like
that's the
me
one.
when I'm yelling at my kids. I'm always quit pulling the reins while you're kicking them. You're trying to
Yeah.
stop her and get her to go.
Yeah. And then so
No,
I was gonna upload it today. Like there's a video, and again I don't remember seeing this, but he's talking at the beginning. He's like, well, he lost. What he say is he lost his steering wheel or something earlier. He said, look back. He said, no, like both reins for he
Laying
lost
on the.
both. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't.
I'll be
Yeah.
thinking. So how long did he hunt? How long? How old was he when he quit?
So okay, I graduated high school in 2000, and he was still hunting. And then I went the one of the a couple of the videos I uploaded where I actually was the cameraman. Like I went home for Christmas break. I came up here to Texas Tech for college, and then on Christmas break I went home, and that month I mean I made probably like $5,000 or $6,000 just on tips for
Wow.
being because that those hunters would tip me good because I ran the video camera, but I'm trying to think I'd say probably 2003, 2002. Dad is the heart disease. I heard one of y'all's I don't know, the end of one of the podcasts, and I think it was Chris that said that he, tries not to do strenuous activity because he doesn't want to have a heart attack. No, but anyway, like,
Lazy.
Dad never actually had a heart attack, but he was just always having blockages. Like, ran in the family. Like, I think his dad died of a heart attack young, but at that point,
Well,
go ahead.
most of those old timers like that, they smoke too. I mean, that was all
You
part
know,
of.
that is true. From the time they were like, Dad smoked from the time he started smoking when he was 12 years old. He said,
Yep.
and I was like, I knew my dad was, I mean, kind of an outlaw, but he's like, no, he said back then it just, but with that being said, so he stopped drinking because I think he was probably, I don't know if he would have been bearable to be around if he, I mean, he quit drinking when he was 21. Okay. He quit
Oh, that's
because he
good.
was, oh yeah. But the thing is, he never, I don't, I don't know if he. I think if he realized how bad it was for him, how much air it was taking from him, smoking, I think he probably would have quit. But he smoked till he got kicked, and he literally got his face stomped in by a mule when I was 2 years old, and that's the only good thing that came out of that was he didn't smoke a
Made him
cigarette.
quit smoking. Oh, I'll be dang.
Yeah, I mean it was a horrible deal. I mean, and that's when he decided to, like another one of your videos, Brett, when you said there's no point. I mean, there's too many good ones. Get a good one. Don't get one that you're gonna have to.
Yeah. No.
And like the ones his mules, like some of them, one of his best mules that he enjoyed riding, that he preferred to ride, you, I mean, if you even have lions scent on you, like she didn't, you had to be careful. So with that being said, he didn't try to force her to pack a lion. Like he had too many. He had other ones
That would do it.
that
Yeah.
didn't mind it. You know what I mean? So it just wasn't worth it. But that was always something that they either would or they either would or they wouldn't. But
Can you pack a lion or a bear on your mule, Chris?
I've never tried. Honestly.
well, you should do that and document it, video it.
Have somebody video you trying to put the bear or the lion on the mule.
Huh. Yeah, I'll put my kids on it.
What are you distracted? What's going on?
Yeah.
Chris has Chris has real bad ADD.
Oh, my dog that's in heat outside for some reason.
You're what?
He's got a
I
dog.
have a dog in heat, and my sister just said she's outside.
Oh.
Well, go get her. How about your good mule, Benny? Did you pack lions out on her? Him? That mule barely packed you around, though, if I remember correctly.
The honest answer is I never packed a lion out.
Yeah.
So, on that mule, that's right, on that mule. I never packed a lion out on that mule.
I packed bear and lion and deer and everything on that black mule I had. She was good. She would carry anything. But she was miserable to ride out by herself.
We put a deer on my dad's horse one time, had him all tied down. It was perfect. Started walking him off, and something did something. And that damn horse went bucking and just deer and saddle and ended up back at camp a couple miles away. But it did end up at camp. We had to drag that deer back, and yeah. That was the first time trying it thing.
I had a horse.
Because he started out, he acted cool, huh? Like he was going to be cool with it, and then just blew up.
Yeah, we walked him off. We walked out probably 100 yards, and all of a sudden, maybe something fell or touched it or touched him in the wrong spot, and he decided, nope.
I had a horse that came originally as a colt from Harley Shaw in Arizona. Harley was I think he was a turkey biologist, did the lion study on the Spider Ranch, and I ended up with this gelding from Harley, and I could get him to pack anything I wanted. In fact, we called him Harley. But I was just curious. You said your dad hunted with that grouchy old bully down there, Henry, and did he associate with any of those other guys down there? What about Rick Dickerson? I mean, Dickerson did all his stuff, and he just did, he was the government guy, but I don't know that anybody. Rick,
yes, sir.
Rick was out. He lives in at Fort Stockton, but
really,
he hunted.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say the trappers that he did. I mean, there were a bunch of them, but I've never. I don't. We didn't know him. Now Todd Mishnick. Did you know Todd? He was out of.
I knew each other since we were little kids. And
what's that?
Rick and I knew each other since we were little kids.
Huh.
But he was, I guess, he was working for the government trappers, but he didn't trap.
He was a houndsman.
He was the only one that's been in the state of Texas that was just a lion hunter with hounds, and he's retired now, and they're not going to have another one to replace him.
And I am going to go down and interview him.
So how old would he? I mean, would
today he's probably 60, 67.
Okay, so I was trying to think. My dad was born in 1938, so he would have been 80 years old, almost. Right? Is that right? I believe so. So
Rick was.
So there might have been. But I knew the Gil Thurman. They were out of Fort Stockton as well. Gil and I don't remember the dads, but Todd Mishnick and then Bill Applegate was out of Marfa, and the reason mainly that they would call Dad if they had a line pull out like jerk it out of a trap and then go catch them. So yeah.
Do you?
Rick went to work in 1980.
Huh. That's interesting. Then I don't know why. But and I mean, I would have if Dad would have known him, then I would have known. So yes, sir.
Have you ever had any of your own hounds, Holly? Somebody asked, do you currently have hounds?
No, I wish. I mean, like, unfortunately, like I said, like Dad always. Okay, so his females, he would keep. I don't know. I'm not gonna call them brood bears, but like that's kind of how.
That's what they were, yeah.
He only,
yeah. Well, we call them brood bitches.
The females that like any female that he had them all spayed, so with that being said, like, okay, so Dad started having heart trouble, and I think like the medicine, I think that like he just wasn't himself, like he had no energy. I think he just thought he was going to die and was depressed and just not, it was not, it was bad. Like, even thinking about it, it was bad, to think like, he was always outside, but like that, like I said, all the medication, it just takes everything out of you, like you don't have any energy. You don't. So finally he just threw it all away and took like an aspirin a day and maybe like something for his cholesterol and perked up again. But at that point, like he just, he was, gosh, I would have been probably 20, 21 years old. So, he, he was worn out like too.
Yeah.
So he couldn't, his body, like, he couldn't really hunt anymore. He was going to end up having a heart attack. He had quadruple bypass surgery. Luckily he hadn't had a heart attack, but he was having to have stents put in. So with that being said, I don't know. I never asked him, but I just got home. I came home from college, and the dogs were gone. And no, because his hunting dogs, he kept them on chains, but they had to be worked. They had to be hunted. You know what I mean? By then, Nugget had already been, had already passed away, but still that was his bloodline, and so from what my mom said, she said that, and I wish I knew who ended up with him, but she said that some, I say kid, but probably in his early 20s kept calling Dad, because Dad didn't advertise them for sale or anything like that, and he kept calling Dad, and Dad was like, no, I'm not interested. He wanted to keep them, but at the same time, he knew that they needed to be hunted. They couldn't just be.
Sure.
And Mom said that one day that guy just showed up, like drove all the way from Arizona and just showed up without Dad's knowledge, without his consent. And she said that, he figured, well,
what the heck?
If he's got that in him, if he if he wants to that bad, then he'll take care of him. And I never, like I said, I never asked. That's how my father was. It's just, we just didn't speak of it because I think it would have.
Oh, it hurt him too bad.
Bad. And so we have 4 or 5 left that were just, pets, I guess you could say. But once I think, they were gone, that was the end of the bloodline. So
that was it.
Yeah.
I wonder who in Arizona got him. I wonder who that was.
I don't know. I wish. I mean, if anybody's watching this, Jim Moore, Balmorhea, Texas. So that's
What year?
That was a young kid.
Well, I say kid. I think he was probably sounded like in his late 20s, but maybe, but I don't know. I wasn't there. So
what year was this?
This would have been in probably 2002. or 3, I'd say. Yeah. So, um, but I wish, yeah, I mean, I wish I was like watching that video with those puppies of yours just the other day, and I mean, gosh, they're just good pets too. Like they are like, I mean, we never didn't have like, my
Some young
mom didn't
dogs running
really
around.
appreciate it always,
Yeah.
tearing up things like,
It's though it is hard when you have dogs out there that are used to being hunted, and you go out there and look at them and you can't take them, and and it,
right,
as time goes on you still can't take them. I can imagine your dad said it just wasn't fair to the dogs just to leave them here. They need
Well,
to
and
be
what is
it,
gone
it
yeah,
hard?
it
hunting
was.
somewhere.
What is it harder on, the dogs or the owner?
The owner can do something about it. I mean, he can ship them to someone who will hunt them.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever
Yeah,
you.
but
I
those,
mean,
I get it. Those are your dogs too, and you probably have hope that you'll feel better the next day and you'll go out.
talk to that guy right down there. He's been down that same road. He had to load up
I
his
gave
dogs and take them.
I
Mm.
gave my dog I gave my dog away twice.
Oh,
Not
And the
this.
last time I gave dogs away, I probably gave away $20,000 worth of kennels and $70,000 worth of dogs.
Okay,
for
Benny.
health reasons, or sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to interrupt.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. What? Tell us
Okay.
why, Benny.
Because I wasn't able to hunt the level that the dogs needed to be hunted. And
Mhm.
I did it because I love the hounds. And
Right,
those hounds deserve, at their caliber, those dogs didn't deserve to just sit out there in a pen caged up and not do something. That's not what they did. That's not what they were bred for. That's not what they thrived on. I mean, my lead dog Dora, I bought her from Larry Hendricks, and she wouldn't do it. She would not acknowledge anything other than a mountain lion. And
right.
that dog,
Yeah.
those people had her on medication because she got congestive heart failure, and she was
How
14,
old
I
was she
think.
when she? Okay,
She was
interesting.
14, died,
Huh.
and she trailed a lion the day before she died.
But that's a good thing. I mean, a good way to go if
Yeah,
she's worth.
we all hope we
That's
could
a
do that the day before we die.
man. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I understand it. And the first time I brought 3 dogs with me when I moved to New Mexico, and I didn't have time to hunt them at all, and so I finally looked around and found somebody that hunted and gave them to him under certain circumstances, and he didn't keep his end of the deal. So today, even today, if I see him, I'll give him the finger and tell him to pound sand because he got
Benny,
dogs.
you wouldn't do that, would you?
No.
I guarantee you, I'll give him
It's
both barrels.
I'm surprised you don't just go get them back. Like, I mean, um,
That was a long
yeah,
time ago.
yeah, it was a long time ago, but that's
but
so out of
they're
character for you,
just they're
Benny.
more than their family. I mean, they're like those dogs. Like Nugget is the reason. I mean, he put food on the table. He put me through college. I mean, it's there's so much more to it than just like. I mean, that was Dad's main concern. And in those videos, you can tell too. He's always like my dog. Like if he ever yelled at a hunter in a video, it's because like they shot too soon or just I mean anything that. And that's when
Put his
those
dog through
lines.
danger.
Yes, sir. And if you watch, like, there's Dad will, especially when well, obviously when they're bait on the ground, but like Dad would tell him get back. I mean, he'd say, and at that point, those dogs, it would it'd get silent, and they would get back for a few seconds, and that's to give them time to shoot, and that was pretty. Now watching that now, it's pretty impressive that they'd listen to him, but uh, but when they would really get when the line would grab them is when if they got shot, but it didn't kill them, just injured them, they were hurt. Like that's when they'd really, I mean, kill a dog like easy because they just grab them and
That
wouldn't let go. But
for anybody's interested, I put the link right there to her YouTube channel. It's a lot of cool videos, old time lion hunting videos.
that are kind of hard to watch because they make you dizzy and they're rough, but
I
let's
think
all
that
work
puts
on
the
that.
authenticity into
That
it.
yeah,
So
that makes it real.
That's the thing. It's like Dad was. I mean, he was a cowboy. He wasn't a cameraman, so therefore, like
I,
it, it was a lot to you know and it doesn't show the camera doesn't show how rough that country really is and what you're everything you're trying to do like uh yeah but
even the best camera today doesn't show the angle, the
right.
terrain, how rough it is, and anybody, everybody's spoiled today
Mhm.
because the cameras have all those anti-moving, gadgets in it. And if they had a camera like back in the day, they'd have the same exact videos. Because how many times, even Brett knows, when stuff goes western,
Camera
the
goes out
camera's
the window.
pointed. If you're holding it, it's not pointed at you until
Uh-uh.
you realize, oh, I've been holding this camera the whole time, and you point it at him real quick.
Oh gosh, he had so many times where he thought it was off and it caught the whole audio and I was like, oh. He's just like he'd have that.
Beep,
I mean, it was
beep,
a huge
beep, beep.
yellow. Yeah, I mean, my mom and I finally gave up trying to get him to stop cussing. Like, but
That's
he
one.
did. I mean, he worked on it, especially if there was like, I mean, that's why he didn't like having women. Like, if it was a couple that wanted to come hunt, damn. But but you know, he
He calmed it down a little bit.
the thing is though, it's like when he cut like, and I don't know if there's a difference to me, but like Dad, I mean, it wasn't I mean, yeah, he was like, he'd say son of a bitch and goddamn, but he wasn't, I mean, I'm sure a hunting camp, that would be a different story, but he wasn't vulgar, and I feel like there is a difference. I mean,
There
you
absolutely
know,
is.
you
There
know what I'm trying
absolutely
to say?
yes,
Like,
I do. Because I
okay.
hear young guys say things now that I think, man, I wouldn't even say that around a campfire with a bunch of men drinking beer.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think he
He's
saw
probably
that he
talking
didn't
about
fit
me.
Yeah, Chris is one of them. I'll be right back.
I only cuss around Brett.
Benny, I was gonna ask you if you remember a guy, gosh, so he was the one that was videoing a lot, and his videos were actually good, but his name was Jerry Shanley. Did you know who that was?
I knew the name, but I don't never knew him. No.
Yeah, he was a different kind of little character, but he was always he was reliable and he was good help for Dad.
You, I always
So
wanted to hunt the mountains. That was my goal. And I talked to a rancher from Marfa and Valentine. He had ranches in both places, and he had a
who was
ranch
that?
over here. I don't remember
Benny
his name.
Miller? Oh,
I don't remember his name anymore, but
yes, sir.
um, he he told me. He says, yeah. He says, Henry. We have Henry McIntyre. He says, but he doesn't make circles. He said, I don't. It's been 2 years since we've seen any mule tracks in our pastures. He said, yeah, just come. You're welcome to come hunt. And I said, perfect. So I called him and I said, hey, I'll be there in about 4 days. I'm going to go to Valentine. And he says, no, no, no. He says, you better not. He says, I'm just afraid old Henry will find out we let somebody else in here and then things won't go good at all. and and I knew enough about Henry. Henry was a bully. He was he was just a mean old bully. And that even that rancher that paid him to be there was scared of him.
Well, and that's probably why he got by with stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, but you know, where Dad wasn't. I mean, he was. My dad wasn't a bully, but he was definitely like, you know, okay.
Well,
Like I'll
he
give you an example. Like Bill Applegate was the government trapper in Marfa, and like I said, I mean, he and Dad were friends, but uh, I was my ex husband's family. They have a big ranch there outside of, well, actually south of Valentine. It's called the Bright Ranch, and Bill Applegate. Yeah, I hadn't seen him in years, and he came out there, and we were just talking about lions, and and how because like we'd have like dad would have, I mean, they were like he had a permit and everything, but like the when he'd catching the live. Max, quit, excuse me, get back, my dog. Max, what are you doing? He would we'd have to feed him, and if my dad was out of town, then that meant mom and I had to feed him, and it's like I mean, yeah. So anyway, it was just crazy how they know the difference between, if it's a woman or a child or that come, they're gonna run at that cage, whereas like a grown man. But I was talking to Bill about this Applegate, and I was like, whereas if Dad walked up, I said, then that line would just run backwards. And he said, yeah, he had that effect on a lot of he had that effect on a lot of things. And I was like, well, anyway,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I talked
you know,
to Dad. I talked to Dad about those lions in cages and traps, the way they did it, and all of that. And I did get to hunt down there by Kenna on the end of the mountain. I hunted with some guys that were neighbors to Tommy Lee Jones, and I
mm-hmm.
hunted on Tommy's ranch. And then,
Yes, sir.
like I said, I hunted on Bob. I wanted to hunt a lot more on Bob's, but he said because he was leasing the ranch from the family had rules that they couldn't. No, you weren't allowed to be out there by yourself. Well, not everybody could just pick up and go when I'm ready to pick up and go. So I didn't get to hunt
Right.
on Bob's as I'd like to.
Yeah,
With all
Bob,
your friends?
that's a
What's that?
pretty, it's a pretty ranch. It's a really pretty ranch up there. It's up by the observatory, I believe. But so
That,
Bob's brother is Edwin, and his daughter and I are we were the same age. We grew up together. We're still friends. So her name's Libby. Yeah. Anyway, that there's a racetrack up there, and that's where they lived. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's crazy because like as a crow flies, okay, so we lived Balmorhea, and then all those little towns kind of make a triangle out there, and like Balmorhea to Fort Davis, it was 37 miles. I mean, I drove it so many times, but once you like, if Dad turned out at Madera, or Madera, which is like I, I'd say probably 20 miles from our house, uh, he could easily end up dang near at the observatory. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
yeah. And then the Boy Scout Ranch was probably one of that was his favorite place to. It was one of he said it was the prettiest ranch out there, and plus there was a paved road all the way to headquarters because, yeah. But I mean, he was lucky because at that point all that stuff was still privately owned, so it was, if anybody was running traps, then it was a no-go because he wasn't going to risk his dogs, you know what I mean? But and you couldn't stop them if they got to a fence line. They don't know the difference, you know what I'm saying? So he had, I guess, permission, his deal with the rancher was like, okay, well, you don't have to pay me anything, but if I catch a lion, then I get to take it, like alive. And so he had him wiped out for a while, like for quite a while. I think they're
Did your
back in
dad
thick
do
and thin.
anything else besides hunt? Did he, like, a lot of guys, they off season they do handyman jobs, or did he just guide? That was it.
Well, no, that's all. I mean, for money wise, no, that was it. That was all. But the off season, that's still a lot of dogs and mules to have to feed and take care. Yeah, and so I say, you say off season, like it just got, in the summer it was just too hot, and then
Yeah.
the rattlesnakes. But with that being said, those ranchers, you can't let them down. The lions they're still making their circles. They're still active. So therefore, he was still hunting, but just off of kills, or just you know what I mean, like just but yeah. So I mean, he was still hunting, but he wasn't taking paid. He wasn't taking hunters during those months. But
Holly, what
mhm.
everybody else doesn't realize is that the ranchers in Texas pay their lion hunters.
What's that, sir? I'm sorry.
And what people don't realize is the ranchers in Texas pay their lion hunters. It's those Texas ranchers are so serious about the depredation that they actually help the lion hunter with the paying them to kill lions.
Right. Well, and so that is, I'm curious as far as the government trappers. How does that work? Do they have to pay them as well? I'm not clear on that.
No,
They don't.
no.
Okay.
The
But
ranchers would pay the government, like for Rick Dickerson. I don't remember, he was a federal guy, and
yes,
so
sir.
they would, each county would pay, chip into the county and
Hmm.
Dickerson's money, and so he concentrated on the counties that supported him financially.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. So then that's where the incentive was for them to let dad hunt, because for like that, and I didn't even realize that until you just until you just said that, was the fact that, like, he didn't charge them, but it was mutually beneficial then, you know what I mean? Like, because
Yes,
he had free reign to hunt from, I mean, man, like as far as you could see, like from Marathon to dang near, I mean, not to the end of, to the Eppenhours, to the
Did
Millers, which that was in Valentine area. But
did he hunt a lot of
yeah.
that country that Jim Breck and Breck Bean hunt?
Um, well, so Jim Breck, I think, is probably, I think he's got like, the hunt, I guess, the hunting lease, whatever, all in that whole area, because by watching the videos and stuff, a lot of that country looks, more like the Davis Mountains, as opposed to
Yeah.
just like the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, Dad, he he from, I mean, from Madera to there. I'm just thinking of the big mountain like Livermore. There's a big mountain called Timber. To the what is Fort, like between Fort Stockton and Marathon, the Glass Mountains.
the
I
glass.
mean that,
Yeah,
yeah, yes, sir. So yeah.
I know they catch a lot of lions down there. The Beans do. Breck and his boy. I know. I don't
Right.
know his boy. I know Breck. We traded dogs before and stuff. So
They're really good people. And I mean, Jim Breck's young,
yeah.
so, and not only is he, doing great like hunting, but I mean, he's a heck of a hand, rodeoing too.
Yeah, he
So
was
I
a
think
good
it's really
calf roper.
cool.
Wasn't he a good calf roper?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
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 So,
He's just a good kid.
have you been involved in any hounds, or once your dad got rid of his, did you just kind of peter
I
out of it?
mean, like, no, no, sir. Yeah, no, I haven't ever had any of my own, but it's just, I think almost just, um, like we never did, I don't ever remember not having dogs. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, with
Yeah.
him, so it's kind of like with horses. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, yeah.
I don't
What
remember not being able to ride a horse.
what
But
what you do? I mean, do you compete on horseback now? Do you chase barrels or something? Or
no, my dad never would let me. He wouldn't let me rodeo. He wouldn't let me run
oh
barrels. I
wow.
think just because
You can only
he's
you can either run hounds or barrel because it's going to break you.
right,
Hounds or barrels is
right,
going to break
right.
you.
I think he just thought that it was such a rough, like, wait, tough. He just, it was different back then. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah.
and plus, like, I mean, the horsepower of the girls, we couldn't have afford to, have a horse that I could compete on. But,
Do you
but
do
I
you?
always had horses. I worked for Coors Rodeo for 10 years, I believe, or so. Just, like PR and chasing the cattle out, like, which was more fun because I got to be in the arena longer than 15 or 20 seconds. So
So do you
I
do
enjoyed
anything on
it.
horseback nowadays? Or I mean,
No, sir. I mean, I don't have any horses anymore, but I miss it.
oh, I
I'm
bet.
just, it's
Yeah.
kind of the same with dogs. I'm not going to have them just to keep them in stalls, uh, without dad there to it is handy having him there to take care of him and feed him year round, or while I was in school, so I can enjoy him in the summer. But yeah,
I'll be.
um,
How many videos do you have up? Do you know? I forgot to see.
man, like
Let me look.
not
I'll
even
tell you.
I'm not sure, and that again was kind of by
65, Brett.
accident.
You've
65.
got 65 videos, shorts.
Really,
Does that
I think
include
a lot of them
shorts?
are shorts. A lot of them are
Oh, you got a
shorts.
lot of
So
shorts.
Well, that's what people like these days.
that's what brings it. That's the only way I've gotten any subscribers. Because I mean I can't figure I haven't figured this YouTube thing out at all. Like uh I've
There we.
posted at different times a day, but like you just never know like what's gonna um and then the
I still
shorts,
got
that's just
quite a few videos. You got quite a few videos.
Yeah, there's a lot
and
here.
that's only probably like a quarter of the videos that I have, like um but I need to go through there and kind of like clean them up a little and do like like make them more cohesive to where they,
Yeah, you need to get rid of the bull
you
riding
know,
in Pecos, Texas.
what's
You
that?
need you need to get rid of the bull riding Pecos, Texas, the Pecos Rodeo Coors.
Yeah, well, that was a memorial. That was my dad's. Yeah, my dad actually started. He started putting on a bull riding, and then after he passed away, we had the memorial. But I didn't realize that's. It was just a personal channel to start off with.
Yeah,
Sure,
that's
it was.
I know it's no, I'm just saying. I know exactly what you
No, you're
mean
right though.
because
You're
I started
exactly
out the
right.
same way. I mean,
Yeah.
heck, I even made a video one time of me flying to Atlanta, Georgia. It's like, why did nobody wants to see this guy who rides a mule and has a bunch of dogs get on an airplane, go to Atlanta, Georgia?
Now, see, I think that would be a sight to see because hopefully you remember to take your pocket knife out before you.
Well, yeah,
I
yeah.
never do. I've lost more pocket knives at courthouses and airports.
Come here, Gus.
No, my wife has a checklist before we fly. And she makes sure that
She pat you down.
yeah, just about. She, when we go someplace
On
like that, I just
eBay,
do what I'm told.
there's like you can buy. It's like if you look for like TSA lots, like, and you can buy like it's all the knives that
Oh, I
they
bet.
confiscate from people, like crazy. But
They say they
yeah,
throw those away. They lie.
well,
They don't
I
throw them
mean,
away.
I don't know
Those
who's
all
getting the
go
money,
home.
but like,
Yeah.
I think my dad would have probably just been like, okay, I'll reschedule my flight. Like I'm not gonna. I guess
Go hide it
you
under
have an
somewhere
option.
and get it on his way back.
So you're not getting my knife. Hey, we got
Yeah,
another
I
tell
thumbs
ya.
down.
Who is that? It's probably Chris Powell.
Who's Chris Powell?
Oh, they're going to have a live show tomorrow night. We might as well. And
Yeah,
this is not
they're gonna-
This is not a paid for sponsor. They're having their live show, and they're another Houndsman deal. They were big podcasters and stuff, and now they're getting into the YouTube stuff. So we're giving them a hard time about getting into YouTube.
We're kind of like Billy the Kid, where he said he'd never steal a horse from someone he didn't like. Well, we wouldn't pick on you if we didn't like you.
No, that's Jim Moore to a T as well. Like if he's teasing you, that means he likes you. Otherwise, then like he's not gonna give you the time of day. So
That's the way I am. If I like you, I'll
I tell
tease
you
you.
what.
If I don't like you, I won't say a word to you. I won't nothing.
that's why I haven't figured Mr. Benny out yet. You can't really.
Benny don't like
Either-
nobody.
No. That's what you need to figure out. You just don't like it, period. So I would
Hey.
love.
I was in Lubbock this morning and I didn't see you anywhere.
I waved at you. Do you know how busy? Do you know how windy it was here? I mean, it's windy here, yes, but sometimes, and that ties right back into hunting. When the wind doesn't lay at night, it's just not good.
No.
Like it was blowing here
No.
from the minute I woke up, which probably wasn't that early, but it that was really rough on Dad. Like if it would either like if there's a full moon or just wind, like windy all night, or Like if it was just like kind of light, like like shower, and then the sun come out, then there goes your scent. That was when he had
Sucks
the
it right
couple
out.
times,
Yeah.
like sure, yeah, for sure.
I would
Uh,
I would love for you to get with somebody just to write or dictate while you tell the stories as when you were 5 years old or 8 years old and they got a lion draped over you that's alive. And could you imagine that? That'd be a good book. That'd be a good
Well,
book.
your videos. I mean, if you took if some suggestion, if you took your videos and then you did an intro and talked about them, just like we're doing here, you turn the camera on yourself. Say, hey, my name's Holly Moore. My father's name is Jim Moore. He was a lion hunter back in 1990. And in this video, this is what he does.
Narrate it.
Let's just jump right into it. There you go.
I would be totally down for that, but I would need some help as far as
Well, me and Brad are about to kick back up the YouTube BS session. Always welcome to jump on.
Are we gonna start doing that again?
Well, I was gonna do it tomorrow, but now I gotta watch. I gotta make sure them guys ain't making fun of us.
We can do it early.
what are you talking about?
Oh, that's that Houndsman
Chris
XP.
Powell.
We gotta monitor them.
Yeah, we gotta keep our eye on them guys.
Defend ourselves.
What did you say? Imitation is
Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
Right?
And
It's funny.
I think we think they're imitating us, and I think they think we're imitating them. So
No,
guess
they
I
might.
just-
They might have been the first podcasters, but I was the first YouTuber. Uh-oh.
Like I said, you are the Caitlin Clark of you are. Yep.
I'm banging down those 3-pointers.
I wish
And
Chris
thank-
Powell or Ed would jump on right now to defend himself.
So I know that this is like not my place to ask questions, but like, so Chris,
Oh, it is.
where do you live? Like, where are you from?
Ollie, I'm married. That's all I gotta say.
Yep.
You can't be doing. She's watching right now. Dang it! I'm in Arizona. I'm north. Oh, look, Benny got his spear out already.
Keep your spear, Benny. We might need it.
That is so
Yeah.
funny that you bring up a spear like that. That is, oh man, a spear. This
I'm in
hunter
North-
showed up. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm in North Arizona.
Are you an Are you Indian? I mean, are you?
He's got too much hair on his
Have
face
you-
to be Indian.
Have you look? You know who? Look, you just offended Rez Hounds. He's on right now. There is no Indian that has a beard like this. I guarantee you.
Okay, but you were talking about your Appaloosa, your Indian Apple. Like, I don't know.
Oh, I have some Navajo ponies. Yeah.
I thought you were the res. Wait, that's not your.
He's antidote of a houndsman.
Yeah, Rez
Oh,
Hounds
I
is
thought you
on.
were I thought
No,
you
that-
were the res. I thought that was you.
No, that's Res Hounds is Calvin Redhouse. If you
Yep.
he's got the most famous picture, and I think it's a video too, isn't it? Of it's the most famous one that's ever going to be made, and he's got a bear and a lion in the same tree.
No way.
Yes,
That's awesome.
that's you just
That's interesting too because like okay, so as far as like the dogs go, I mean Dad's dogs, they weren't. I mean they were honest. Like if they first of all they weren't barking. They would kind of yip when they got on one, but other than that, if they weren't barking until they were looking at a lion. Like
they're
never
pretty silent.
It was 100%. Now there were times they didn't catch anything, but like they weren't gonna get they were solid. But a lot of his dogs that if he just had too many, now he would give to Glenn, and they would turn on Bear that so easily.
They'd
Like
run
so,
Bear easy.
I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, he would just put them in with the rest of his, and then they were bear dogs. So
a lot of guys run bears and lions. I mean, most guys up north do,
yeah,
don't
well,
they?
that's what I'm saying.
Chris does.
I just thought that was interesting. So
I try. I chase something. I run bears, lions, elk, deer, coyote, whatever, fox, rabbits,
with the
butterflies.
same dogs. Did you say butterflies?
Yeah,
Those are his good dogs.
yeah. You should see my bad dogs.
Oh no.
The only thing my bad dogs run to is the trash can and knock it over in my neighbors. So, you ought to come over to the rendezvous.
The rendezvous.
August
There's the other
24th.
girls there.
Oh yeah, it's time to do that again. Yeah, I think Diana.
Oh yeah, there'll be Amber Marshall might come. I'll try to get her to come. She'll probably be hunting though.
There
My
it
wife
is.
will be there. I don't know if Tammy's going.
I don't know if Tammy's going to go or not because I told her if we go, we got to stay in that rooftop tent, and she don't like to climb up and down that ladder. So
Oh, like one that is.
Well, just,
Oh,
it's over the top of my dog box.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's handy. I got lots of room for everything. But
Yeah.
and her and Diana talked too there at the
oh, Diane will be there.
at the last deal. Yeah, they'll be. We got people coming from all over the world.
What about the redhead that borrowed the tracking collar, talking collar?
Tessa Fowler.
I'm just wondering. I'm just curious.
She ain't gonna come down. We're not special enough for that type of publicity.
Her and I are not on talking terms anymore.
That's good. I don't blame you. Huh.
Yeah, she's. I don't know.
That's
Benny,
sorry.
that's Benny's buddy. Benny knows her personally.
Yeah, they're buddies.
That's
Benny
Benny's
used-
buddy.
Yeah, Benny used to drive all the
Yeah.
way to where's she at? Wyoming or somewhere like that.
Cody, Wyoming.
Benny used to go.
Huh.
He delivered a dog
Where?
to her.
Where Jeremiah Johnson is buried.
No, I didn't. I gave her some dogs, but I went to
And she
Broadus,
sold them.
Montana to get a decoy pup from Craig O'Gorman,
Oh,
and on my
Gorman.
way back, I had told oh hell, now I can't think of her name, Tessa. I told Tessa out of those dogs I gave her, if she ever got this dog and that dog bred, I wanted some pups, and so she did. And I stopped at KC, Wyoming, met her on the side of the highway, and got those two pups, and then I ski-daddled out of there.
And you mean you got the pups and you didn't get his collars for him? Dang, I'm just kidding. No, I'm
Those are already
No,
sold.
that was before he
They're
looked.
sold.
Huh.
Oh well.
What's a decoy? What's a decoy? Did you say decoy dog?
Yes.
What's
It's,
that mean?
There's a lot of people that claim they decoy coyotes with their dogs, but this guy over there, Craig O'Gorman, he can blow a horn or a siren and coyotes will start howling off in the distance, or he can play a tape of coyotes howling and coyotes will answer in the distance. And then he's got dogs that actually go to those coyotes and antagonize them and retrieve them and bring them back to him, and he shoots them dead.
I've watched some YouTube videos. I think that's number one. It's so crazy to me that the coyotes that they operate that. I mean, that's their method of. So I think it's neat that these dogs kind of like outsmart them. I think it's pretty cool to watch, actually.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Works best after like breeding season, doesn't it, Benny?
Oh, I'm
Yeah, but I was over there with Craig. I wanted to be a government trapper at one time, and so I went to Craig O'Gorman's trapping school, and I was there in September, and I'd never heard of that before, and so we went out, and he had these three dogs with him, and he had a 22 250, and we went out, and he had played on a PA on his pickup, a bunch of coyotes howling, and some coyotes answered way off in the distance. And so we were walking towards them, and I thought, well, we're going to go hunt these coyotes. And we got on this point overlooking a draw and sat down, and I said, hey, where's your dogs? And he just told me to be quiet. Just sit there and be quiet and watch. And about 5-10 minutes, here came those dogs with 4 coyotes in tow. And
That's
every
crazy.
time the coyotes interest, those dogs would go over there and antagonize the coyotes and bring them back. Shot a coyote, and the other 3 coyotes left. And so with his mouth, he started yipping like a wounded dog. And those coyotes got all fuzzed up and came charging those dogs, and they brought them right back to us. and he shot another one too. And I thought, this is the coolest damn thing on the planet because I despise coyotes.
Right.
I got his book or his deal here somewhere. I love the name of it, Hoof Beats of a Woofer. It's just the
Yeah.
coolest name. And I got it here somewhere because I, back, I don't know, it was in the 90s, I guess, and that John Henry down in southern Arizona, he was doing the same thing. He was decoying coyotes, bringing them into the gun. And he's got a video out, him and Vic, John Henry and Vic, I forget Vic's last name. I got that video here somewhere, I think, but I was way back in the day.
Yeah, I was a coyote killing fool back in the day. Calling. That's all I did is call.
Yep.
Owl, call, rabbit. It didn't matter. I do it with my voice. Like I call them in with my voice.
Shh,
Howling
I
and
don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
It's-
You want to do it so bad, I know, but
I want to hear it.
Well,
I'm
it's a
gonna-
Come on.
I'm going to put him
I-
on. I'm
no,
going to put him on mute.
I can call in elk too. I can bugle like an elk.
I want to hear your coyote call.
I can't do it right now. You put me on the spot.
No. What do you say? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, he can't work with that.
I can't even
I don't think
whistle. So
I don't think I've carried a coyote call for 20 years. I just get them
Oh, that was a little short glimpse of it, huh?
lip.
yeah,
little-
I bet if you did that, I bet my dogs would probably start howling.
Yeah.
You find dogs.
No, I'll get them coyotes going. Or those elk. I'll get them elk bugling. I can bugle like an elk too.
Speaking of like strange sounds, like okay, so those lions, like when we'd have them in cages, like like it's almost like a whistle. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Like
Yeah,
they're
I know what you're talking
It's
about.
like a chirp. Yeah.
it doesn't. I mean, it's if you don't know what it is, you wouldn't.
You know,
You wouldn't.
we were
you know what I mean?
bear
You wouldn't
hunting.
expect that.
We were bear hunting last year, and I heard that. I know I heard that, and I said, I think that's a lion. And my wife says, lion, a bird or something. I said, no. And I got on YouTube, and I played that. I think Jason Miller has a couple of videos on. If you go look up Jason Miller Outdoors,
Uh-huh.
that lion come through there just, whoop, whoop, doing that real high pitched chirp. Chirp.
Yeah,
just like a
it's
bird.
different.
So, and I started doing it back, trying to get it, and it would call back.
That's quick.
So,
Come here.
but it was nighttime, and it wasn't Nevada, so I couldn't let my dogs go.
It's like a cross. It's not a ground squirrel, and it's not a bird. It's somewhere in the middle, and it's a little chirping whistle, and the kittens do it to locate their mother too.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not even like a sound that, really like a lion. They have a lot of similarities of a mean house cat, or just I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
Gus, get off my Gus. He's got a okay. Gus, move. My spoiled dog. Anyways, so but they don't even make that sound, But I don't. I it's a strange one.
It is. It is.
Yeah. But I didn't know if it was like a mating thing or what. Like I never could figure it out. But
They have a couple of them that are for mating, locating a female.
yeah.
They do that, for the females, high pitch. I walked out this morning at 2:00, and I heard a bird. And I read so many books and watched movies. I thought, bet you there's an Indian out there in those trees making that noise, going to get me. You know how in the old movies they'd make those raccoon sounds, the woodpecker sounds.
Woodpeckers.
Every time I hear a bird at 2 a.m, I'm all, that better not be somebody over there telling them I'm leaving my house.
You're funny. How old are you?
Jesus, you're awful nosy.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm the private investigator here.
I'm just wondering. That's why
I'm 49.
But it cut out. How old are you?
You missed your chance. Sorry.
I
That
know
was
it did.
it.
It just
All you
happened to
got.
cut out. Dang.
No, I'm 49. I just act like I'm 12.
I didn't even know you were that old, Chris.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought you were younger than that.
No. I moisturize.
Moisturize and eat right and
That's
get
why
a
I
good
don't-
night's sleep every night.
Yeah. Yeah, son.
He's got
Got one
kids
of my
strung
boys.
out all over the country.
I got one of my boys down here with me this week, so one-on-one time. So we eat crappy food, cup of noodle and
Ramen.
whatever
How
we
many
can
kids do you
find.
have?
Just 9.
He's not sure.
Just 9. There's 9 that I know of. All right.
He doesn't know how
Nine.
many kids he has.
Oh man.
Hey,
How
I have 2
nine?
wives.
9 is how many he's paying for.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I mean, there's not much.
I don't-
I'm sure that's, you know.
I've never paid a lick of child support in my life. I got all my kids. So
Okay, I'm like, this is getting worse and worse.
and my last
Getting personal.
yeah, my last 4 are twins. So I got 2 sets of twins.
That's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So that's, I mean,
That's what I say. Why not have litters? If my first
Oh,
wife
my
would have just had
goodness.
litters, then I wouldn't need no more wives.
Oh me, yeah. How many wives have you had, Chris? I always, I know I've asked you this, but I don't think I've ever got a straight answer.
That I was married to, or that I had? I don't know. Just 3.
Just 3.
Yeah. But I have 4 baby mamas. I wasn't good at
Well,
math
that's-
either.
what about you, Benny? No, I'm just kidding.
Why is this show about me? This show ain't about me.
Because listen, you're always the one that's running the show. I've figured that out.
Wait a minute.
So
Wait
th-
a
that's-
minute.
It's good. The reason you're the one
Are
asking
we
the questions
undercover?
is that way you're not. Is because then you don't have to answer the questions, right?
That's exactly right. Mute her. Mute her now, Brett. Mute her now. Yeah. I think she might be undercover.
Oh no,
Benny?
I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Better get
Okay,
your
another
spirit
day,
in it.
Gordon. Like the
Maybe.
poor guy that was on last week that somebody kept calling him Pilgrim, and he had no idea why. Like, I'm just saying, like.
Who was that? Who was that we
it's a
called
shame-
Pilgrim?
What's that?
Who was it that
Wasn't
we were
Billy.
telling that?
I don't know. It was somebody in the comment section. But the thing
Oh.
is like, it's a shame. Gus, you're gonna pull my whole deal down. It's a shame that like someone like that wasn't like he's lives in the wrong part of the you know what I'm saying? Like if someone like that like that wants to hunt is bad.
Oh, that was what was his name? That was that kid.
yeah,
Is that
that's
with
what I'm
Dylan?
saying.
I think
Like,
it's probably
Dylan,
y'all
and he was supposed to come on tonight and tell us about
it-
his progress. And what he
He
say?
He
said
was
next
undercover.
Monday. He said he was tired. He worked outside all day, so he had
maybe
to
he
work.
wasn't camera ready, y'all.
Maybe.
Look at us. None of us are ever camera ready.
Speak for
Right,
yourself.
he did.
I brushed my beard and my hair today.
Y'all said that he was maybe undercover, and so you
He
said
could
something
be
about me.
undercover.
Benny's the one who started that. Benny thinks everybody's undercover.
And undercover
Well,
what?
yeah.
Like what are you?
Well,
what are you
because
guilty of?
Benny was such an outlaw for so many years that he's paranoid.
And
And he's-
he's, you know,
I mean,
even-
there's statute of limitations. Are
Well,
probably-
that's what I keep telling him. But
well,
we don't.
not for Jaguar, Oslet, and the Canada Lynx. All those pelts
Well, I'm
he
glad
got
that you
stored
just
up.
put that out there. That's
What was that? What was that Jaguarundi, Benny? That-
A
Yeah.
Jaguarundi cross between a feral cat and a Canadian lynx and a swan.
I swear.
So that would be like a felony in more than one country. Like, fucking Canadian. I mean, you got, man, you are an outlaw, huh?
Yeah, we don't even know the half of it. We got another couple years before we can get all the truth. Then he'll be statute of limitations will have
Statute of
ran out.
limitations. Everyone is undercover on here, Holly. That's what Tim says.
Is that your dog?
Yeah, she's in heat. Stinker's in heat, and she wants outside.
Oh, that's your dog.
That's my dog.
Oh.
Yeah, she's trying to
I
get
thought
out
it
the
was a
doggy
bird.
door.
I thought it was an Indian bird. No, I'm just kidding.
was what it was, an Indian outside.
That's an Indian bird. Yeah.
It's her first heat. It's her first heat, and driving her crazy because she has free reign around here. So she'll run around and treat
And
cats
now she's
all
pinned
day,
up.
all night. Now she's
What
pinned
kind
up.
of dog is it?
That's that one I crossed, my border collie. Oh, Sneaker.
She's going to make a good cat dog, ain't she?
Yeah, yeah.
Aw.
Everybody thinks she's a beagle.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I want a beagle. I just want
Well,
another.
talk
I just
to
want
Missy.
a puppy of some sort.
Talk to Missy.
Missy has them. Missy Fix. Where is Missy tonight?
She's here. I
Was
seen
she
her pop in.
Was she the one on last week with
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. No, she's on here. I seen her on here.
Well, so if any of y'all have any litter of puppies and if you have any extra, I really want one.
I
just
just read. I don't know if she's gonna take. I hope so because it's a cross out of old and new line. So
Hey, Brett,
Brett just gave me his last dog.
we need to get her hooked up with Missy Hale.
Our Missy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Missy Hale.
Is that her last name now?
Yes.
I didn't know her last name. I don't know her husband. Barely.
Dusty.
I just met him. At the
Where's
store
she out
in
of?
Reserve.
Where's she from?
She's over in Mule Creek, New Mexico, right on the Arizona-New Mexico state line.
She's a hounds woman. She hunts and rides, and she's tough now.
He's a hand.
Yeah. And they're in good country.
You ever want to get back into it or get in, like go ride with somebody? Get back into it a little bit.
I miss riding. Yeah. Period. Like and I guess it's one of those things. It's like I don't know any different. You know what I'm saying? So now, like, after, like, once I started watching your stuff, I watched that interview with was it his name Mike Leonard, I believe.
Mike Leonard or Mike Root, one or the other.
Yeah, I think it was Mike Leonard. And that interview, that really just there was just, I don't know, so many things that got my attention in that. And then after that, like I don't really know how to say it. Like, it made me realize how much I know without even,
just because you were exposed to it for so long. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I just don't know any better, any different, but, it just, but the dog, that's where it's at, I mean, I claim to this day, like, as far as like, okay, like because it wouldn't be fair because I wouldn't have any dogs, you know what I mean? But, and that's, I mean, so important, not just to go out and buy them, but to like, I just wish that there was some of, I still had some of Dad's, his bloodline, but as far as like catching a lion, like alive, like just in I say not like a live trap, but like a cage trap, you know what I mean? Like I would bet money, I would bet on me against anyone, you know what I'm saying? That,
Yeah.
Just because I mean, I just know not just how, but I know how to
That's how you were raised.
Draw him. What's that?
That's how you were raised. You were raised around it. That was everyday life.
Well, but the thing is we learned, I was little when Daddy got his dog. So in a way, I mean, I didn't realize, but we kind of learned together. Like I watched as he was learning, like I was there with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's just things that to me now it's just kind of like common sense in a way, but really I don't realize how lucky I was to have learned so much from him without even meaning to, you know what I mean? It was just,
yeah. And it's never going to be the same as it was then. I mean, that was the end of a, what would you call it? Like a way of life.
Well,
I mean,
it was. And I mean, even just, like, I mean, being able to have access to that much country, he was lucky. I mean, he did his job. I mean, as far as keeping the lines, I mean, like I said, I'm not exaggerating. He had them. They were wiped out, like to the point where he was having hell making money because he his hunts, they were guaranteed. Like if they didn't catch a line, then they got to come back again and hunt
Until they got
free.
one caught, yeah.
Yes, sir. So at that point, he was just kind of like, you know, uh, he was his dogs. I mean, were amazing. Like, and it's crazy how like he was always real worried about. Of course, we all worried about Nugget. Nugget was the boss, but you know, once there were times that he was just sore or this that, and Dad didn't want to, but he'd leave him at home, and then just naturally, it's neat to see how the others will just step up.
Yeah, we've talked about that before too. Or lead dog or whatever, and then when it's done, which dog is going to step up when it's gone or out?
Right, and yeah, for sure. And so Bonnie, that female I was talking about, she was like, I mean, I considered her my dog. All our dogs were kind of like pets to us, but congestive heart failure is what we lost her to that. But she was young still, and she just started getting. She was spayed, but she started getting just real, like every now and then she just blow up.
Chaga.
You know what I mean?
Chaga, but
what's that?
Had chaga. Chaga.
No,
Did they have chaga back then?
I'm sure they
I don't know
did,
what
but
that is.
chaga is what that Cody King talks about. That they got
Oh,
it
is that
real
what?
bad down in South Texas, way down there.
But isn't that something spread, like it's a bug or something, right? Or
They get
A
how
young,
does it?
like what? It is. It's the crap. Remember, it's just the feces of the bug. Poops,
Oh,
it bites, it dragged its butt across the sores, or Cody thinks it's the water. Like they'll eat those bugs out of the water or whatever. They're on the ground. You
but
know how
it's, yeah,
dogs are.
there's
They
a
eat
certain bug that's
the chagas bug.
no, I don't. No, I don't. I hope that stays away from Lubbock too. I don't.
I
I
know.
don't want to deal with that.
They say it's everywhere now, but
They,
Oh.
and I don't. What when was that? In the 90s, 2000s?
yeah,
That that dog died.
I was saying she had congestive heart failure, like the dog your old dog that you were talking about, but she was young. But anyway, that's all I was getting at. Hey, I have a question. Do y'all? Okay, heartworm. Do y'all give your dogs do y'all treat them for? I mean, preventative, I guess, heartworms or not?
Yep.
give a
I
give
don't.
a shot.
I
give
don't.
a shot. That what's
But
it called, Benny? Where you shoot it in their mouth. That wormer. What? You can use the
Like
Mectrin. Ivermectin.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
well,
I guess I do then, because I give my dogs that just for worms. But I've just never had. I mean, I'm knock on wood here, but I've just
well,
been
yeah.
lucky with that.
That's the thing. I think it's kind of like I mean, in order to get heartworms, a dog has to be bit by
Mosquito.
it has to be bit by a mosquito and then bite your dog. Well, so I mean, I guess like around Houston or like now that I'm in town, but otherwise, I don't know if it's just another thing to sell you at the vet or what. But
well,
but
I give my dogs now a shot under the skin, and it's a wormer. Cody King's the one who told me about it, and it covers all that stuff. And
what kind is it?
I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry.
Find out because
yeah.
that's Ivermec. I tell you what, that is something. If I mean if your dog has any type of a shepherd, like it'll kill him.
Yeah, if it's got collie, yeah, I think they say collie or something, shepherd,
No,
something like that.
I know for a fact, like
Yeah.
it's very bad for. I mean, that was fine on our hounds,
Well,
but like
That's
what's
like
that?
Parvo, boxers,
What is?
terriers. Parvo hits
Oh,
those
yeah.
certain breeds too.
No,
Really?
but
Boxers, terriers.
Ivermec is as like worming them with Ivermec will kill if they. It's basically like border collies, Australian
Yeah.
Shepherd, that sort of thing. You know?
Oh, So Nina said, be careful giving that ivermectin because sometimes they don't mix well. So there's a hard dose and a piece of that. So when you're just giving for, you give them a thumbnail, that might be like 90% of the,
No.
because it didn't get mixed. And so you got to be
Okay,
careful doing that.
so what it is, and I'm not like an expert, but I know from experience because I have this little dog that's he's my whole world. He's like 13. He looks like a weenie dog, okay? But I did that embark where you DNA your dog, but this is after he almost died from Ivomec, and I mean, it was bad. It was horrible. And it turns out, I'm not even kidding you, he is a quarter Australian Shepherd because he's a
Wow.
mutt. I mean, I would like to. I'll forward this. I've got all the documentation, and I wouldn't have believed it otherwise. But I'm telling you, like I had this, like it was the paste, and within 30 minutes he was almost completely blind. Like I should have my ass kicked for doing. I should have known better, but I just was like, okay, it's safe. Dad did it. No, he almost died. But what it is, and he has like the gene double, and okay, so what it is the Ivomec, it attacks their central nervous, parasite central nervous system, I believe, and so the certain dogs like the collie type, they're missing the whatever it is that blocks, that most dogs have whatever to block it from going to their
Yeah.
brain, but they're missing that. So it'll kill him. I mean, dead as heck. And he finally recovered, but it was a long process. It was bad.
Yeah.
So
I've always heard that.
it's true.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I believe you. I don't have any doubt about
Yeah.
that. But I never really was too concerned with my hounds. I've never had
Right.
any problems with them. But yeah, I've always heard any of the shepherd breeds or collies or anything
Yes,
like
sir.
that is
Yep.
it's fatal. It can be fatal for
Yep.
them.
They
But-
said 4 white feet do not treat.
Oh, really?
And my dad always said long-haired dogs, which that was kind of more. But yeah.
There's a good podcast. I don't remember who put it out. It's been a year or two that the guy goes through every wormer and he literally tells you if it says dog on it, it's just going to be more expensive. But he tells you the ingredients to use on any other wormer. It's a good podcast. I mean, the guy goes through it all. So, I don't remember what it was on.
Don't remember.
I Panicure when the last hounds I had.
Panicure?
What's that? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Panicure.
actually. Uh-huh.
I don't know what the name of this stuff is I use. I've got it there in the house, but
And it is like across the board because, like, okay, so like Safeguard, for instance, okay, even if you're using Ivomec, but it doesn't. You have to still combine it with something else to get all
the
of them,
worms,
right?
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's a broad spectrum worm or something. I don't know. Cody's the one who told me about it, and you just give them a CC under the skin, and
How often?
I think every 2 months, something like 3 months.
Until the
something like
worms
that.
are gone. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but I don't have. I mean, I'm up here in the sand and it's dry, and we
Right.
don't have mosquitoes, and I'm sure we don't have much of a worm problem here either. But I haven't had any problems that I've noticed.
I haven't had no problems. I didn't notice. The only dog I've
I have-
lost just out of blue is he got stung by bees, real bad, like hundreds,
Dang.
and he lived.
Ah.
So I lost like 7 dogs to a bee attack. He
Really?
lived
Like-
a month. Yeah, a month and a half later, 2 months later, we're running a bear. He fell behind 2 dogs. I picked him up, threw him. He was kind of sore-footed. He was walking sore-footed. I'm like, it wasn't even that long of a run, but it was a hard, fast run. Threw him in the truck. Went to get my other dog, who's around the corner. Not under 5 minutes. Open my tailgate, get my other dog in, and that dog was dead. Well, I don't know. Maybe that bee. 'Cause I had a dog die that night, like right in my arms. Craziest thing. It was in my house. She'd go through seizures. I gave her all the stuff I could. The Benadryl. I even had an inhaler, all kinds of stuff. And she died. And the last breath she took, all my dogs outside started howling. It's kind of creepy.
It's weird.
Soon as she did, as soon as she took that last breath and she just died, all my dogs howled.
Hmm.
Then I lost a litter of puppies. I lost El Pato. I went out there the next day, and he was paralyzed. He could only move his eyes and look at you laid down. I had to put him down too.
What
I'm
from what
talking
was that?
thousands of bee stings. I was combing
Oh, but
with a
that's about the
lice.
puppies.
Yep.
Were
She
they?
was older. These three dogs were older. Mistress was like 3. Argyle was 1.5, maybe 2. And then Pato was probably 3 or 4.
Were they those African bees?
That's what I was gonna.
I had a beehive under my house. Been there for 10 years. No, it never bothered us. And I think robber bees came in and they got in a fight. That's kind of what the guy explained to me, a beekeeper. And they just went crazy. They got in a big fight and just started attacking everybody, and ended up
Everything.
having my cousin come rip that out. You know,
Was there a
he
lot of
caught the
honey under
queen.
there?
Oh yeah, heck yeah! I saved it. The sweetest honey you ever had. But now they're
It
back.
wasn't.
They've been back. They're back because bees will find a hive and take it over. Even though we ripped it all out, they still kind of smell where there's been a hive, and they'll chew through anything.
How do you know
sealed it
that?
up. How do I know that?
How do you know what they smell?
They told me. They told me. I'm like Ace Ventura.
A bee whisperer.
Yep. A bee whisperer.
Uh, what about
So
rattlesnakes? What do y'all?
uh,
I mean,
hate them.
guineas.
Hate them.
I mean, I hate.
Guinea hens are
Well,
super at your place to keep them away.
they
Yeah.
they work. I mean, I hate.
Yep.
I don't like birds though, but like they do. I do think that it's just. I think. I don't. I don't know. I don't. Ugh. And the guineas are so loud, but like you know what? If
They
it'll keep the snakes away, and they do keep
They
it
absolutely
works
do. When we moved
because
out
and
to
coyotes.
when I was a kid, and we
what
moved
they.
out to the ranch in Estancia,
Uh-huh.
that's what we got as a bunch. But we had terrible rattlesnakes. I mean, we killed like 27 in our yard one year, and we got
I,
guineas, and they kill them.
Disappeared.
and like
They keep the
snakes, just with
coyotes
hearing
away
them,
too.
it's in their nature just to avoid them anyway. You know, they don't want to. They don't want any part
Sure.
of it. And like dry years are way worse because they're coming up to your faucets for for
Drink.
water. Like, yep.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah, I
I hate
hate.
them.
Well, I've only had one dog die from a snake bite, and she was bit in the leg, and she was
That's why.
already, yeah, and she was already 13 years old, and
If
she
they're
and
if
she
they get
lived
in
for
the
another
nose,
week, and
yeah,
and
when they get
and
in the nose, they're pretty much you can. I mean, we always just kept dexamethasone and that as long as that that's if they were gonna get bit, that was the best place I
yeah,
guess to get
and that's
bit.
what always 3 cc's of Dex under the skin, 3 cc's in the muscle, and then 3 cc's under the skin for the next 3 days. That was just always easy to remember. So that's and I
oh,
never.
These
I
I
mean,
little
they
these
swell
little
up and
dogs
look
though,
awful.
I mean they it wouldn't. I mean they
Might
it
kill them.
it
Yeah.
wouldn't work. It'd kill
yeah.
them.
I had
Like I've tried to.
I had, I had a young dog get bit by a rattlesnake, and I just drilled him up, and he lived.
I think most of them would live anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, I've had lots and lots of dogs bit over the years.
But
Yeah.
I also catch snakes. When I catch them rattlesnakes, I'll take them home and put them on a fishing pole, and I'll let my dogs out, and I'll reel that in where that snake's going, and I shock the shit out of them. I don't care. I mean, like they're getting bit all the way
They
back to
think
the
they
kennel.
think that snake did it, so they don't want any
As soon as
more
your
of it.
nose touches that snake, I just hammer down on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that last rattlesnake I just killed on that video, all the dogs they didn't go near it. They stayed back, so it
Hmm.
works.
Mm, I hate them. I just
Oh,
as
I
much as
kill and
I'm
eat every
scared of them.
rattlesnake.
What's that?
I kill and eat every rattlesnake I get.
You eat the rattlesnakes?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
oh
hillbilly.
man. Do you have you ever eaten lion? Like it's
Oh,
pretty meat, but it,
best meat ever.
you're kidding.
It's
Oh,
real
I
pretty,
swear to God.
light pink.
Do you fry the
It,
back straps? I bet you do. No, I'm kidding.
oh, whatever
I
you
don't.
want to do with them. No, I eat the whole lion.
Oh,
Burger it up, cut what you can, cut steaks out of it. If you ate lion and you didn't know what it was, you
It
would
looked like
think you was in a
chicken.
5-star.
We just cut the back straps out. We
The
did.
meat is
Yeah.
really pretty though, right? I mean, like I
Real
think it
light
is, but
pink. Yeah.
If
yeah.
you didn't know what it was,
So
you would love it.
uh, it-
Guaranteed.
I mean, I would try it actually, because I mean, why not? I
Sure.
wouldn't eat snake. You know,
The
there's
first time,
what?
I was gonna say, first
Cut
time
out.
I ate lion, a guy brought it over for my dogs because he didn't want to eat it, and then I cooked it up and ate it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna give this to my dogs.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I tried lion.
Did you
It's
fry
like-
it?
Yeah,
Anything's good
My
if you
skin.
fry it.
exactly right.
I ate
okay.
I've only ate rattlesnake one time, and I ate it. I couldn't get past and it was. I remember it being pretty good, but I couldn't get past the fact that I was eating a snake. That
Oh,
just the thought of it just made me feel terrible.
nope. I eat them every time. Terrible. Oh,
Benny, tell us some stories. Ask some questions. Make yourself useful here.
he has a spear. He showed it once.
Yeah,
Well,
that
that's-
spear,
that's-
like
I'm loaning you my perpetual spear.
You better bring it. You better bring it to the
Let's see.
town trials.
Has anybody got any questions? Let's see.
What's your best memory running with your dad? Story.
What line
Good story.
Well, this was obviously an accident. But like I said, we had lions in cages, you know, because like when you catch them year round. Well, I don't know how it happened, but like one of them got out, and so yeah, so where where our place was was kind of like outside of Balmorhea, so between our house and then town, there's this little. Anyway, it's where the Catholic Church is, okay? And it was like literally like this line. No, I'm not kidding. It was like right when they were just getting out of church. So not only did this line runs right through the middle of them, and then followed by all the hounds, because we had to go. And then my mom, my dad, myself, and then somebody else was with us. I don't know. We were afoot, but there's a like a creek that runs kind of behind Balmorhea, and like, that's the first time that's the only time I've ever seen a porcupine alive, that's another. I don't know. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 12 years old, maybe, but the salt cedar, everything's real thick back there. I'll be honest, I don't remember catching the lion, but I mean they caught the lion, but like I just remember that they ran through there and scattered those Catholics like like you wouldn't believe. And
Scattered the Catholics.
yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And like they were already, kind of, they thought my dad was crazy anyway. So it was just like, well, it couldn't have worked out, any better or worse, however you want to look at it. But then we're in the middle of the salt cedars and look up, and there's a porcupine and above us. And I just thought that was actually the coolest thing. I'd seen lions, I'd seen dogs, but I'd never seen a porcupine.
That was different.
Yeah, and then another. This was like my senior. I guess I think I was. It was the summer before my senior year of high school, and we would get calls like all dad would have ranchers or the foremans call him like regularly saying, "Oh, we just saw a lion," whatever, and dad, the whole time he hunted, he never saw one. Not one time did he ever see one without his dog. So, I mean, I know it happens, but it got to the point he's like, I don't know what they're seeing, but he'd still have to go just because, because the next time, what if there was, what I'm saying, just to satisfy him kind of. So he would go, and point is like, I never put too much. I was happy to stay home because I knew I wasn't going to miss much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then one time we were in El Paso at the horse sale, and at this time, I mean, we had like a bag phone, right? Like and so my mom was at home, and she was able to get a hold of us like on our way home, which, I mean, it was probably after midnight already. And we have some cousins. It's my dad's cousin. Somebody actually mentioned that last time in the comments they said asked me about somebody Lithgow. Well, so anyway, my dad's like third cousin or something, but they're close to us. Like she she called and she said that there had been a line coming up. Like I guess she was putting out scraps every night, you know, for their cats or something. And they had their ranches between Balmorhea and Fort Stockton, like Hovey Road is where in that area, whatever. So anyway, Nancy had called and she said that the line was back, and Dad was like, Dad, they grew up together, so Dad's like, no, Nancy knows, like she wouldn't like. And I almost we get to the house. I mean, by then, I mean it's, I mean, like I said, well after midnight, and then we load up the dogs. We don't take any mules. When we get out, by the time we get to their place, there's probably 2 or 3. Everything's so far out there, you know. And my cousin, we went. I just went in the house with him, and I'm like, this was dumb. Like I don't even know. We're like literally like laying on the couch. He's watching TV, and all of a sudden, though, we heard the dogs. And at that point, we're like, okay, because like I said, Dad's dogs, they didn't, you know, no false alarms there. You know, I don't know. I don't really know how many miles we walked. I mean, they chased this lion, but I just remember that like when you finally when he finally dart, because there's no trees out there either. They just baited up like in a creek bed, and like so he darts it, but with the stuff, I mean, he would use. I won't say what he would use now. I don't know, but anyway, it wouldn't knock him out. You know what I mean? It would just make him like drunk. It would just make him goofy. Like so, if you didn't, he always had like I mean, a jacket or something to cover to put over their head, basically, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then they would yeah, and then they'd finally. But okay, with that being said, though, we have these dogs that are not. I mean, it's like trying to hold a freaking bull when you know. I mean, so
Sure.
we've each got a dog. We're like sitting down with our trying to brace up against something because I mean, it's there. I can't explain how impossible it is to hold one of them when they're trying to. But we didn't want them to kill it. You know what I mean? So we've each got a dog, and then this lion's like, and that was crazy. Like that was probably one of the, you know, coolest things because I almost didn't go, but I have a picture too that like, but somebody drove a truck to pick us up. Thank God we didn't have to walk all the way back. But I have a picture, and it's like we're sitting in the, you know, like 4 of us sitting on the tailgate of a truck, and this lion, it literally looks like it's just chilling, like it's with its head in my lap because its eyes are open, you know,
just sitting there purring.
Yeah, and Dad and I, by the time we got it unloaded back in Balmorhea about when sun up, so that was cool. I'm glad I went.
We got a question for you here, Holly.
Sure, what's up?
We got David Nichols wants to know if you're single.
Yeah, yes, I'm single.
There you go, David.
Yeah.
This is the Interview Stories and Tell dating service.
Divorced. I mean, I say divorced. I was married about 1.5 years, and then yeah, no kids. So, yep. Just me and my
Any
dog.
more questions from anybody?
I got some spare kids if you need some.
I was gonna say I didn't know this. I thought this was like, you know, YouTube. Like I didn't know this was an OnlyFans.
That's
Only hounds.
Hey.
Wait, are we making money on this? Wait a minute.
Us? On what?
Only
Maybe we should change our. Well, we do.
According to YouTube, I'm almost to money making status, which I don't know what that means. I don't know at all, but
almost a couple hundred more subscribers, 300 and
no, I've got.
No, she's got 600.
Oh,
You gotta have the watch
500.
time.
Thanks to y'all.
You gotta have the watch time.
It's I don't. That's it. But
well, I thought you had to have 1,000.
I think they've changed something there because
that 500 is
They
like
lowered it.
a different deal though. If you look into it,
well, it's confusing.
It's not full. I don't know.
but yeah, something changed within the. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Put up
uh,
more videos.
more
Do 'em.
videos.
Do some,
Yeah, no,
do some
But
narration.
I think,
but you got to do them like I said.
yeah, I'm not saying I appreciate the advice. It's just um, it's easy talking with y'all. You know what I mean? But it's I don't know. I'll just have to
Easier
figure it
said than
out.
done.
Well, I just like it never was, I never realized that it was gonna. I just started uploading them because that was the easiest way to share them with like,
Yep.
was I couldn't send a video that, and I need to do something to make them more uniform, right? I guess, yeah.
Yep.
And an intro would help, I guess. But some of them I don't really know what you don't. There's not really much to say. My dad was just so like, um, I mean, still watching him, I'm just like, geez, Dad, like the one where he says about the guy he kills the lion with a bow, and then like keep in mind on that one video of me on my like I had a paint horse, so I thought that was kind of funny, Dad. But he's like, yeah, that's why the Indians lost the wars, bow and arrows and paint horses, and I'm just like, what
I always,
war?
I always heard
First of
that's why
all,
they were so tough in a fight. If you'd had to ride a paint horse all the way to the war or to a battle, you'd have been
you'd have
tough
been mad
too.
too, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep. But um, he, I don't know.
Any more
He
questions,
was.
guys? I just shared your YouTube channel right there.
Thank you. Before I forget, do y'all know about that bone? There's like a floating bone in like, like okay. I'm not gonna say withers because that's a horse, but like between I don't know. You say like the
Shoulder blades.
shoulder blades of the lion. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Have y'all
I've
ever?
heard of it. Benny?
Yep.
What about it?
I mean,
What
Benny,
about it?
come on, Benny. Are we
come on,
bothering you?
Grumpy.
Who don't know about that, stupid?
I know, right? That's a Jim Moore. That's exactly a Jim Moore comment right there. Like, for sure.
What
I
about
think
it?
Benny's busy and we shouldn't be disturbing him.
Yeah. He's busy. He's busy staring at himself.
Oh, that's funny. Where's that floating bone at? I've heard that. It's like I have a faint memory of it, but I can't just grasp it.
I don't know. I mean, all I was responsible for was here whistle, hold on, or hold the tail, or hold the foot, like while he was skinning, and that was my least favorite part of all of it. But and Dad wasn't he wasn't the easiest to to deal with. It was.
One thing's for sure, not the same. It's not in the same place that the boar coon has his floating bone.
Oh, well,
Or the
that's good to
bear.
know.
Or the
Oh
bear.
yeah, that's right. Maybe that's what I'm missing.
The bear
did
has
you
one
ever-
too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Make pins out of them. Tim
Somebody,
wants to know if you ever
somebody want
found
to
out.
explain that.
It's his wiener. It's his wiener.
Yes. Okay. I was like not gonna say that, but like that's what I was thinking. I was like, Dad went bear hunting one time and he came back with a little souvenir. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, I had one on my Toyota, my '80 Toyota
You had it
dashboard
hanging
for
from the bear,
years.
huh?
For
Well-
years, yes, from a bear.
Oh.
And a guy grabbed it and threw it out the window. And I said, "What the you doing?" He goes, "I threw that chicken bone out the window." That's not a chicken bone, man. It's a bear dick. What are you doing? I've had that there for years. Had to get out and find it. Son of a gun.
Like an ornament. Oh my. Yeah.
Some people make pins out of them, I guess. I don't know. I would just tell people, "Hey, check that out," and they'd play with it a little bit, and they're like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "A bear dick." And then they throw it down because they thought it was disgusting. Tim wants to know if you ever found out where that dog was bred, Nugget. Did you ever ask Charlie?
How he
how he was bred or where he was bred.
Where is he from? His line?
He's from Crowley, Texas.
I
Crowley. Mr.
I
Charlie Jennings was the man's name. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
from listening. I think that he had a combination of some, you know, treeing dogs and some running walkers.
Dad or just
Your dad,
um.
yes.
Oh no, I'm sure. Absolutely, because like I said, the females they look. One of them looked like a. I mean, her body's she didn't have the body of a Dalmatian, but she was black and white. Like I mean, with little spot, like little like she looked like a Dalmatian.
Ticked
The other
up,
one
yeah.
came from actually the other one. The bloodline came from Mr. A man named Mr. Burris from Goldthwaite, Texas. That's a, that's where her name was Goldie. That's where she came from. And then there was that July that he called Bob, who was just, you know, but that dog was he was honest. He was different, and like if they ever, he was always the one that could, I mean, put the smoke on one, and then also like sometimes sort out a trail when the others, because it's like when they're jumping from just bluff to bluff and rock, and not, I mean, it would it was hard on him
Sure.
sometimes. But Bob, he was like he was a real different kind of dog. He was real sweet, real just timid, but like he didn't bark. And he could catch it all by himself, but when they got there, like he'd go lay down. You know what I mean? Like he'd let them. He knew
Said
his
I,
job. Like yeah.
yeah.
And if they were already on it, then Bob was just kind of a. Then at that point, he was just a pack dog. Like he didn't
Hmm,
make any waves. He was good.
that's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, but I don't know. He was different.
What else do we
But
got
yeah,
here?
Goldthwait, like that's there. That man, I believe him or his son. He's still there and has dogs. But
What the
Mr.
hell?
Burris was his name.
What the hell is Tim talking about? Did they go to
He
stylish
wants to
shopping?
know their bloodline. I don't think she knows the bloodline. She just knows who they came from.
Who they came from,
Well,
and that's the way most of our old Southwest dry ground lion hounds. We don't know that they go to stylish or housebred or any of that crap like that. We know who they came from.
That's it. You got a name. Like mine came from
Yeah,
Salazar.
yeah,
That's
my
all I
point
know.
is, yeah, it's not a horse. They didn't come with papers. Like I don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
You,
Oh,
you,
but
oh, Benny's does. Benny's does.
Benny's. I got the papers right here somewhere.
Yeah.
well, his didn't.
Look,
Those
there
hunters,
you
they say,
go.
"What kind of dogs are these?" He'd
Look,
be like, "They're lion dogs." I mean, that's all he would say. Like,
Benny puts
but
those papers under his pillow before he
Look
goes
at
to bed.
that.
goodness
There it is.
gracious, you made well, yeah. Well, see,
Look at this name
Dad's
right.
dogs. His dogs were just grayed. Then they were just,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Look at right
I,
here.
Look
To
at
Benny
Benny.
Griffin. Look right there. Larry Hendricks, Benny Griffin.
Move that real
that's
quick. You'll
pretty
see
cool.
Benny smiling. When he sees papers, he smiles.
He
See?
gets yeah.
It matters.
Gets them all.
It
Gets them all
absolutely
serious.
matters.
Side.
But most of the time, you're going to hear about somebody that has good dogs that catches lions, and they catch them in the same manner that you're going to want to hunt, and that's kind of like you just try to get them from those people, and then if they have papers with them, that's great, but and it's
Yeah,
just
but you
usually
gotta have
homemade papers.
a lot of money, right? I mean, like they're not cheap. Like
No, they're
that.
not cheap.
Uh,
That's
it's
you know.
nice to know when it's like when someone just has a notebook. Like I had a journal printed up that every time I have a litter, I'll kind of put who it goes to. Try, if I know their number, I put all that in there. But it's just great dogs.
Right.
But it's still nice to
Yeah.
know a little bit of back info, even on a great dog. You know.
Right.
Yeah, but how
He
many
used to. He said
generations?
that he used to keep a little notebook just of the hunt. Every time he'd catch a lion, and then he stopped. He quit. I wish he wouldn't have, but because he didn't have a video camera with him unless he had a hunter. So, uh,
Yeah.
anyway, yep. Hmm.
And video cameras
There was
back then weren't exactly compact.
It was like
no, they
carry.
were. It was huge. It was huge. It was
Yep.
heavy. It was so big. Like, I mean, and it was like bright yellow, waterproof football helmet material. Sony. it was tough.
What was his ideas with filming? What did I know? Did he do it just to document the hunt, or did he have some kind of ideas that might go further?
No, he did that strictly for PR, just strictly so the hunters would take it back and show their friends, and then their friends would want to come hunt.
Oh,
That
so it was something
that
he offered the hunters. Said, "We're going to film your hunt."
it was included. It was included in the hunt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Now and that, to think now, looking back, for him to think, because my dad wasn't. I mean, my dad was just. I mean, he wasn't tech. You know, he's to. I mean, he still would call me when I was here going to college and be like, "Whistle, when he was trying to run the tape off to get a copy for the hunters before they leave, and he's kind of like, well, Dad, do, but for him to have thought of that in 1987, I believe, was
He was ahead of his time.
pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean, it started off rough, of course, but that's he didn't even have a business card. That's all. That's the only thing he had
Word
one
of
booking
mouth.
agent and.
That's cool.
Yeah, because back then, I mean, like now it'd be way worse, but you have like the Sierra Club and crap like that. And he, I mean, like one time, like I'm not kidding, like, I mean, Dateline, like I kid you not, Dateline showed up in Balmorhea, Texas. And it's just like, oh, Lord. But,
What were they there
yeah,
for?
because my dad having lions in cages. And it's like,
Holy moly.
really, but the thing is like Dad was smart enough to. I mean, it was all legit. Like it's wise to get along with the local, game warden. I'll say that. But these they were do-gooders from Florida, which that's like their state animal or something. I don't know, but they were they were mad about it, and Dad's like, well, you can. Hell, they're for sale if you want them, 3,500 a piece. And that was
Well,
yeah.
but even to this day, the lion in Texas he has no more rank than a coyote. I mean, he's still
Now
he's a varmint.
you're right, but it was unprecedented, but still from according to still that's how it, animal rights and just tree huggers, and he was not breaking the law, but that didn't mean that they
They weren't
still
going
on
to
the
give
news.
him. Yeah, first time I
No,
met
and I mean,
Henry McIntyre, he had lions
mhm,
in cages. I showed
yeah,
up there at his place there in Valentine. He had 3
mhm,
cages with lion in each cage. And
yeah,
I never will forget. He had that great big old. I've told this story a jillion times, but he had that great big old Tom lion in a cage with a piece of plywood over the top and a cinder block on top of that piece of plywood. And I remember walking out there and that lion just looking at
yeah.
me, and I thought, man, live, he could knock that plywood off of there if he wanted to. Of course, this was 1980, probably 83 or 84. I was
Huh.
19 years old, I guess, something like that.
Well, Brett, you remember the lion head picture that's the reason Dickerson left Arizona and ended up in Texas?
The pyramids.
The pyramid, and against that pine tree there were, I don't know, 13 lion heads, and it made the cover of Time magazine.
Yep.
Wait, there are lions in the tree. Like, wait, what? Like,
No,
I'm sorry.
lion
They're like in
head.
the
No,
tree. Oh.
not skulls either. They were
No, like they were. That's what I'm
lion
saying.
head.
They were like alive in the. Yeah, I
They
misunderstood
weren't
that.
No,
skulls.
the guy that was the state director for the ADC back then in Arizona,
Hmm.
Dick was on Eddie Lackner's ranch over in Klondike, and they were catching so many lions over there. So he said, "Well, freeze those heads and then take a picture, pile those heads up against a tree and take a picture, so that I can show them to people." And somebody leaked it out into the media world, and so the state director threw Dickerson under the bus. Dickerson just did what he was told, and so
Oh.
Dickerson got a taste in his mouth. And Texas, the state of Texas, was talking about entertaining having a lion hunter just specifically for killing lions in the Davis Mountains and the Glass
Uh huh.
Mountains. And Dick moved to Texas, and left all that in
And they
Arizona behind.
right.
It made the cover of Time magazine.
That's crazy. I mean, like,
I,
huh?
I had that picture one time and I can't find it. I had the one with them all stacked up like a pyramid,
Yeah, that's the picture, Brett.
but I can't
Huh.
find it. If you're a lion hunter, it's pretty awesome.
I'll
Just
have to
to
Google
know
that.
that
That's so cool.
somebody could be that successful.
Huh.
Anyway, what else, guys? What else do we have?
Oh, a lot of information.
That's
What were we
cool.
talking about right before that? Like before the oh, I can't remember. It'll come to me later, but I'm sure it was real important.
I go through that a lot. I go through that a
I
lot.
bet. I didn't mean to steal your sunshine tonight.
That's why we brought you on. You are the
finally found someone
sunshine.
that can out talk you. Just playing. I'm just kidding.
I was just being polite.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to be polite.
No,
I'm pretty tough.
Those
Like,
stories
yeah,
are great. You know,
my
history
dad,
like
like
that, great.
his favorite thing to tell me, and like, I mean, he knew that I could make a hand, but like he expected a lot, and like, I mean, was kind of lazy, I guess, but it was just to me. I mean, like, okay, look, for example, it wasn't normal to. I mean, it was to me, but like, okay, say like, that Fort Davis Highway, it's, windy road. So if an 18-wheeler turned over with a cattle truck turned over, well, guess what? Guess who had to help me to go cut the hindquarters off these cattle that were dead to go feed the lions. And it's just like, I mean, just that was normal, but it wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Did you tell us how come he called you Whistle?
Because I can't whistle, so he was just to be ornery, like
Oh, okay.
he,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't it just because because he was ornery. Yes, he would whistle. I mean, he could whistle with just like I can't even. It's just like without that's for the horses, for the dogs, and from the time I was little, I tried and I never could. So he started calling me Whistle because I couldn't whistle. Yeah, that's like
Let me
that
tell you,
video. What's that?
let me tell you about a kid that whistles. They won't shut up when they learn to whistle. I got my 5-year-old. One of my twins learned to whistle all day. All day. She'd be in bed 8 o'clock at night.
and and it freaks you out because you think it's an Indian or a bird.
Or a lion?
Yeah, or lion.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's man.
Let's see. Do we got any more questions?
Yeah, so Dad would
Holly,
always
can you?
tell me, he'd be like, Whistle. He's like, you showing up is like 3 good men leaving. That it was just, that wasn't very nice, but that's all right.
Man, finally Tim says something I can agree with.
Hey, I don't talk. And then if I don't talk, Brett's like, "Why are you so quiet?" But if we get someone on here that can just talk, it's so great to listen to stories. And
Oh yeah.
now my kids, I can tell them I'm not the only butthole dad that made them cut off limbs
They'll
and do all this
appreciate
stuff.
it. They'll appreciate it when they get older. I mean, hopefully.
I tell them when I'm gone and dead, you're gonna look back
Man.
and think, "Dang, I miss that stupid crap you do." So.
Like we would go to Sam's and okay, between the dog food, like I'd say on average we'd probably get 16 bags of dog food because we live 2 hours from anywhere anyway. But then we'd have to get high these boxes of hindquarter or chicken leg quarters because that's what they ate. And so I mean, there are times like it'd be freezing outside and I'd be having to hold gallon freezer, seriously, freezer bags, Ziploc freezer bags, right? Gallon, hold them open. So then Dad's filling them full of chicken. So we would individually then put them in the freezer. So we'd have, it was a lot of work, but like it, at the time I didn't really appreciate it or enjoy it, I guess always, but
I don't think even he appreciated it. He just knew he had to do it. You just know you have to do it. And I tell you, feeding dogs
Yeah.
and horses and taking care of animals is hard enough, but some lion. Everybody says I want a lion. I want a lion. I'd love to have a lion.
Yeah, right.
Until you have to feed them.
Yeah.
How much did
Yeah.
they eat? Do you remember?
Well,
How much they'd eat
yeah,
a
I
day?
do. Well, we didn't feed him every day. He fed him once every 3 days. He fed him every third day. So, but I mean, they were fat and good. I mean, he fed. That's one thing about Dad. He fed he fed all his stuff good, even his mules. I mean, like knowing now what I didn't know then, like if you take a good horse and you feed him straight alfalfa and oats, like good luck. You know what I mean? It's gonna bring if they have any buck or anything in him, it's going to bring it out. And that's all he fed. But I mean, he rode those mules so hard, but they were just,
Yeah.
you know, but the lions, he'd feed them, well, uh, usually like, I guess maybe depending on the size of the lion, I mean, either the Ziploc bags, like I said, I mean, that would be like a portion. So
Probably about
one,
5 pounds.
1 to 2 of
3 to.
those every third day. Yeah. Because I
Oh
think
yeah.
out in the in the I guess in the wild, like lions, I mean they don't sometimes I really don't know how long they can go without eating, but probably I mean because they're picky eaters, you know what I mean? They're not gonna they're
Some
not gonna what's that?
some are, some aren't that picky.
Well, I guess depending on how hungry they are, right? Too.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna they're not gonna leave a mess like they're gonna they don't want the guts, they don't want anything with
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I'm trying to say, like
Oh
Yeah, they'll eat the better part. Yeah.
yeah.
right, yeah,
We had one
not
lion that was
high.
running a trap line up there for a bobcat trapper. Would eat the bobcat, but would not eat the bobcat's liver. It would just be sitting in, and he didn't. That cat didn't even want it next to him. The liver would be off to the side.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. They'll yeah. That's okay. That reminded me of okay. So the trap thing, they just passed, and y'all might know this, but it's some sort of I guess I don't know if it's a state law, but it requires because out here, I mean, like trappers, they don't run their traps. So these lions, I mean, it's cruel. It's cruel as hell just to let them die from,
Yeah, I'm not checking on your trap for a week.
right. So they just recently passed a law.
Oh, I seen that.
I don't know how they're gonna
Enforce
Isn't it
enforce
36
but
hours?
I think maybe, but like I still think it's a good one. I think it's a good thing to,
I think in Arizona you have to check them every 24 hours. Period.
Well, you guys can't
Well, I
even
don't
use
think-
foothold traps, can you?
Not no more. But when we did, we could. It was every 24
but
hours.
The Texas deal is they can't have a lion in the trap for more than 36 hours. So your trap
Yeah.
can go on for a month if there's not a lion in it. But if
well,
you get a lion,
that's what
all of a sudden, oh,
that's what yes sir, that's what I meant. But
So if you had some kind of electronic device that would trip and let you know when you had one caught, then that's all you'd need,
Like a
right?
cell camera.
Cell camera or something, yeah.
it's the same as when they were trapping mountain lions in those cage traps, and they would use a goat for bait. They would put the old beep beep collars on there, so that
Oh, yeah.
when the gate came down and the lion was in there, it would move the
Magnet.
and the beep beep collar would go off, and so you knew that you had a lion in this place right here. And I always found those, and they used back then they used a lot of those hair goats because meat goats
Yeah.
weren't a big deal. But I always found those traps really intriguing.
Potbelly pigs. What they need.
so
to
they
use.
wouldn't actually kill. They would were they actually kill the goat, or could they how
No.
did that work? Okay,
The goat was
So-
its own separate compartment, and the
Gotcha.
lion could not get the goat, so the goat was alive and would be out there crying and bellowing and carrying on,
Yeah.
bleating, and that would bring the lion in, and all of a sudden, hey, here's a goat in a cage, isn't this handy? And the lion would go in there, couldn't get to the goat, but when he went in there, he would trip a rod and it would slam the gate in behind him.
And pull the
Yeah.
magnet on the collar and send off the beep beep. So
Yeah.
Once you turn your box on and it's beeping, you know you have something.
Huh. That's those Angora goats or whatever. That's what we used to like. But they would kill the goat. I mean, that was the whole. And but he would have like the ranch foremen. I mean, we check goat pens. I mean, every Sunday, or he'd go every third day. But if he had someone there at the ranch, it would help him out a lot, because if not, it's just a lot. It's a lot of miles to cover, but basically, if it was covered up, then Dad would be there first thing the next morning. I mean, if the lion killed the goat, covered it up, he'd be there for first thing the next morning, and I'd say probably catch the lion 90% of the time, because that meant they came back that night to eat on it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've probably told that. My first set of dogs came from Valentine, Texas, and the guy there had a lion in a cage. A trainer lion, had a chain on his foot and a tracking collar on him. And when I asked him, because he was wanting quite a bit of money for the dogs, I asked him, I said, well, how many lions have they been on? And he said, well, they haven't been on a lot of lions, but they've been on one lion a lot of times.
Was it one of the Millers, or who in Valentine?
Ralph Donahue.
Ralph Donahoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was there at Kent. Like was at the anyway. He was one of my dad's. He and my dad were very, very good friends. That's man, small world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Donahoes are good people.
I went down there. I don't even remember what year it was. It was a long time ago.
Did him and your dad swap dogs?
Ralph, as far as I know, I didn't know Ralph, and I'm not correct. I'm not saying that he didn't, but Dad was the one that Ralph always called when, But that was when he was. The owner of that ranch was a guy out of Mexico. Dad just called him Mr. B. I don't know, right? Yeah. So, and Dad went up there one time, like they happened to have a kill when the owner was in town, and Daddy went up there, and him, Ralph, and Mr. B, and Zane Donahoe, who is Ralph's son, they caught the lion. So, yeah, that's cool. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure this was after your dad was gone. I mean, I'm sure, and Ralph he had bought these dogs. I mean, Benny knows the history about as well as anybody. He had bought these dogs, and to catch lions on his own, and then I think his health got bad or something, didn't it, Benny?
Yeah, and when Ralph was quitting everything, he had a beagle, and he was going somewhere through the country, and he brought me, and he gave me that beagle to give to my youngest son, because my son had beagles. He came here to the house. He had that beagle in one of those plastic airplane crates, what I call them, those kennels, and he had 3 bags of ice in there with a horse blanket to keep that beagle from overheating in the summer coming over here. But that was the last time I saw Ralph.
They were really, really good people. Ralph and Julie, yeah, huh? Yeah, they were there for their youngest daughter was 2 years older than me, but she went to school in Fort Davis as well, which is where I graduated. So yeah, Donahoe's.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Thank y'all.
Small world. Yeah, thank you for coming on. That
I appreciate it.
We were worried. We were worried. We thought you might stand us up. So.
Yep.
She had to eat in 2 hours to get ready.
What? What did he say? Whole week.
So high maintenance is exactly right.
HM, that's my initials, right? Oh.
All right, guys. Anything else? Anybody got anything? Nope.
Dog related.
That's quiet.
Personal.
Yeah.
I was reading some of the comments. Oh, okay. Your interaction with kids is what makes your live stream so much fun.
She's single. We'll put her phone number down in the description.
Yep. And her address.
No. Nope. Hmm.
Please send a picture of your dog. So
Of your dog, your truck, and your W-2.
yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
Penny said she's high maintenance, so
All right, guys. Anything else?
thank you, Holly.
Thank
I
you,
Thank
Holly.
appreciate
y'all.
it.
I appreciate it.
Holler
I
if you
love
need anything.
history. Yep.
We'll
So I'll be in
Well,
touch. I'll see y'all.
yep. And
I'll
if you,
be commenting. Hey, I do have one thing to say real quick. As far as us like just that are listening on y'all's live on these shows, like by the time we are able to type what whatever subject that's y'all are talking about at the time, by the time we're
The
done
delay.
asking the question, it's like we don't even want to send it because it's like it's
it's already gone
yeah,
past.
yes.
That's a setting that I've screwed up on. I just found that out tonight, so I gotta fix that.
Well, also,
No, I just
there's
mean
a
like maybe
there's a
like stay on a subject a little longer. Like it's hard to.
we're we're the wrong people to tell that to. We're rabbit holes all day long, but we always
No,
come
that's what
back.
makes
We'll come back.
that's
Yeah.
what makes it enjoyable. But like when I was commenting, it was like by the time my comment would post, it was like that was like 5 top, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
We're already gone on to something else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a setting. I think I can fix that. And
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at. I was going to try to do it earlier.
Don't mute Chris. That's not gonna solve it.
Yeah, I got total control
Chris
here.
has HD. I think what's HD?
I don't know.
I'm afraid.
Look at that. Everybody give us a thumb up. I noticed that too about the thumbs up. I'll ask for a thumbs up, and it's like,
Yeah. Look at Benny. It's
minute.
just automatic. Look at Benny. God. Dang.
what?
I love firecrackers.
I don't do that.
Vinny,
That's
you're
his
magic.
iPhone.
I've never seen anything like that.
Do
That's
that.
from the iPhone?
Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah.
I didn't
Put your
know
thumb
that.
up and the thumb will pop.
Do you have any dogs right now still or not?
Me?
No,
Or no Benny? No.
No.
He's got some big old
I've got-
protection dogs.
Yeah.
I've got a great.
Go ahead, Benny. Finish up.
Oh, just a great
He
Pyrenees.
did.
Max.
There's you,
Oh.
killer.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
Mine don't.
I found
Bear
him
dog.
on the corner of fourth in the hood. And he yeah. Right, Max.
All right, guys. What do you think? Should we call it
He's
a
not
night?
a chihuahua right here. He's not a
3
chihuahua.
hours.
3 hours.
No way.
There comes
Wow.
Benny with his fireworks again. And look at the way it shadows him like that. It looks really
I know.
cool.
What
I
is
know.
this? I can't. It's not working on my end. But
I know. Nothing happens when I do it.
thank y'all. I
Okay.
appreciate
Thank you, Holly. Benny,
Join
thanks. Chris.
See you.
Chris is going to have Ed Barnes
Ed
on
Barnes.
Wednesday night. Ed Barnes
Talking
is
about
fun to listen to
Lilly.
as anybody around. And they're going to discuss Ben Lilly, and I might try to jump on for a little while. Maybe Benny can too. We'll diversify his content.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I can't promise anything because I don't know I don't know what's going on Wednesday night for sure. So, Benny,
All
thank
right.
you, sir. Appreciate it.
See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Chris, bye.
See you guys Wednesday.
Hasta luego.
Awesome.
Onward and upward.